Smooth. Yeah, go and get yourself in the focus. Welcome to the show. I know it's Monday morning, but I appreciate you checking it out anyways. I couldn't stay away. For those of you who don't know, it is vacation week in the Guild. End of vacation week, and that means welcome week is coming up. I'll talk about that in a moment. I will. But the subject of the conversation today. What is spirituality? You know, I was creeping, lurking as I usually do. And who was it? Do I have a bit? Bad. Appreciate that side ejects. Yeah, I had the desktop audio on while I had my mic on. Oh yeah, I couldn't stay away, y'all. But this is what I'm saying. I was creeping, lurking, as I usually do. Welcome to the show. It's not Sunday. It's not Monday. It's Saturday. I know, but I appreciate it. I was lurking, creeping as I usually do. Who was it? If it was Monday, they'd probably pop up in the chat. There we go. Ridiculing curriculum. That's who it was. I was lurking. It was Trav's Live. And just ridiculing curriculum. You can see sometimes comes in this chat. He was in Trav's chat. And this was the question. What is spirituality? That's one part of the reason I jumped on today. The other reason... and it's another story. Here, you know what? I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna flow into the next story. You guys stick around because I know you're not gonna want to miss this. Hold on. So, the second story. First story was lurking in Trav's chat during one of his lives. So just ridiculing curriculum. He sometimes pops in this chat. He asked the question, what is spirituality? Second reason. It's another story. Me, my wife, and one of my cousins was chilling. And my wife was talking about one of the experiences from the morning that I got a whiff of. But this isn't what you should or shouldn't do. So please don't interpret it that way, people. When he started talking about spirituality from his perspective, I noticed the way he described it. Because you have a lot of people who will say, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. But what do people usually mean by that? And my conjecture is that they don't know what they necessarily mean by that. What they mean mostly is that they're not religious in a blind faith sense. They're not religious in a traditional sense. I mean, if you brush your teeth, shower, and shit most days, you're religious to that. Okay, everyone's religious to something. You pay way too much attention to something. Everyone worships. Okay, that's worship. And so they're not to be avoided. I was about to rant. Ha! I'm getting much better at that. Most people reduce the idea of spirituality to being calm and centered, balanced, grounded. You hear these kinds of words. And so I'm chewing on it. Um, what that mostly amounts to is when people think spirituality, they're thinking about how to have an ideal life. The assumption is that a more spiritual person has a more ideal life. I understand why people would think that. What ends up happening, this is the reason I talk about it. What ends up happening is that everything you claim to know spiritually, you reduce to some type of coping mechanism for your emotions. Making yourself into some image of Buddha-like spookiness. Spiritual awakening, ascending, enlightenment. Okay? A lot of people reduce it to disassociation from your physical life. Once again, it's another coping mechanism. Because no one wants to disassociate when shit's going good. It's just another way of avoiding bad. And I'm not telling you don't avoid bad. Pain and bad suck, okay? I get it. I want to talk about what the fuck it is. Okay? It's not enough to just try and deny what anyone else is saying. Okay? It's not enough to just try and deny what anyone else is saying. I've seen some people who claim to talk about spirituality, and the only thing they do is juxtapose themselves to Christianity. Or try and, don't just say juxtapose. They're babies. They try and make themselves completely counter to Christianity, as if that is what it means to be the epitome of spiritual. As long as you're counter to Christianity. Like, motherfuckers are claiming to know what the fuck they talking about, and all they got to say is something about some little snide, sassy remark about Jesus. Bro, I'm about to get in Jesus' corner. Because this shit's ridiculous. Not because I even like the motherfucker, because I just like y'all. Fuck. Jesus like, can I bat? No, Jesus. I'm going to pitch, bat, catch, run the ball. I'm doing everything. You sit your ass down and put some asses in the seat. I'm going to do the work. Fuck, don't be a dick. Anyways, what is spirituality? Okay? What is spirituality? Aries, if you're telling me, okay, to just feel better about my life isn't enough. To feel confident isn't what spirituality is. You're right. That's what I'm saying. To be confident is not what spirituality is. You could have done that with an Oprah book. Oh, well, what if I want to be more consistent in my life? You are consistent. You don't want to admit the places you're consistent because you're trying to be less consistent about it. I ate too much sugar. Most certainly a thing. I'm lazy every day. Most certainly can be a thing. You can be consistent. You can. But the parts of you that are consistent, you're not contending with them because they're doing shit you'd rather not be doing. And most people forego having any clarity because it's all about feeling good. All right, so I want y'all to look. Damn, that hurt. Damn, that hurt. Fucking babies, man. Where did the ideal come from? Spirituality equals better life. That's a good question, actually. That's a good question. Because this is where it comes from. And it gets into what spirituality is about. Okay, with what's it called? It's not the Axial Revolution. Here with because this is a Western thing, my dude. It's so Western. It's such a Western. Anyways, with the split that comes with the duality of objective and subjective. Okay, so the mind and matter, the whole instantiation of materialism, the beginning and creation of materialism. All right, that's where it started. Okay, because out of that materialism, you get things like nihilism, absurdism, existentialism. These are all philosophies. Okay, all of them attempt to deal with the perceived absence of meaning in life. They all attempt to deal with the perceived absence of meaning in life. Where did this perception of the absence of meaning come from? Right? Like, because it was before, no, you didn't need to go out and seek meaning. But why do we have this issue now? Let's talk about Nietzsche. Okay, no, we're talking about Nietzsche. No. What's the man's name? Descartes. Excuse me. Descartes, another European philosopher. He comes up with he's attributed. There's the word I wanted. He's attributed with coming up with skepticism. Skepticism is that ultimate going in and trying to strip the meaning of things, see what you can't destroy. He comes up with the famous quote, the cogito. I think it's called the cogito. I think, therefore I am. That comes from Descartes. Okay, his skepticism led him to question the existence of everything except him and his thinking self. Okay, but what that does is that doesn't fit with materialism. Okay, most people's cosmological framework is that of materialism. They'll say, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, which is very easy to say. You see how I said it a couple times. You don't even have to know what it means to say the words, okay? But this is why people will say that. But where it leads you, materialism does not connect with that I think, therefore I am. This is called the mind-body problem. It starts with Descartes. And when it starts with materialism, Descartes highlights it, okay? I think, therefore I am does not connect with the materialism, with the atomism. I can find every neuron on the planet, cut it open, break it down, poke it. I'm never going to see a thought. Yet if you ask most people, they will tell you thoughts are generated from the brain. There isn't science on that. There's a correlation. But you got to remember this. Correlation is not causation. Correlation is not causation. Just because you see a correlation doesn't mean that correlation is causal. Here's an example. Let's say I'm studying car accidents on the highway, right? And I go to this car pileup. It's a big car pileup, like 7 trucks and 30 cars. It's flaming. It's on 7 world news channels. Okay, it's a huge car pileup. And I go to the car pileup and I'm trying to study the evidence, right? I'm trying to look at this, trying to find some correlation to what causes things like this to happen. And here's what I discovered. All of the cars that were involved in the car pileup had gasoline in their tank. There's a correlation. Well, if all the cars had gasoline, then that must mean that gasoline in cars causes car pileups. Now we know that's ridiculous, but why is it ridiculous? Because correlation does not mean causation. What most people are looking for is causation. What causes this? Why does that happen? What causes this? That's causation. Okay? Correlation, just because 2 things correlate, does not mean one causes the other. Okay? So it's usually from faulty thinking. Anyways, so that's where that mind-body problem comes in. And this is the mind-body problem articulated in a sense. If mind and matter are so diametrically opposed, if they're so opposite of one another, how do they ever meet? How do they ever reconcile? How do they ever come together? In our experience, to the degree to which we'll agree to some distinction between objective and subjective, mind and matter, to the degree to which we'll agree to that, we generally don't question it. We just kind of, well, I don't know, I have to pay bills, so I'll think about that some other time. I know, right? Yeah, I get it. Sorry. I'm eating the rant. Excuse me. Because I want to convey this to you. What is spirituality? Okay? So, if motherfuckers don't know how to reconcile these things, or never actually question whether or not they can, the only thing motherfuckers see is, damn, it hurts. How can I make it stop hurt or hurt less? I can feel that. I get that. But this is more than that. Spirituality is more than that. I understand the desperate need to want to not hurt or hurt less. But overcoming it, like overcoming suffering. Like to the degree to which, in most of the shit that says you're overcoming suffering, if you're giving up suffering, you're giving up joy and pleasure as well. So you don't see no big parade telling everybody to give up joy and pleasure. There's more to this. What did we lose when in adopting materialism? There was no mind-body problem before materialism. Well, hell, actually, before materialism, there were not a lot of things that we now enjoy today. So I'm not telling you throw materialism out. I'm not telling you throw the baby out with the bathwater. What I am telling you is that materialism is not conducive to spirituality. But then we come back to the question, what is spirituality, right? Beautiful. And this is why as I say it can all be so simple. The framework of materialism goes out of its way to deny the entire body of the idea of spirituality, the entire corpus, the entire body of knowledge of spirituality is denied by materialism. There's no ghost in the machine, they'll say. Hell, I'll say there's no ghost in the machine. You reading the wrong story. Stop. What is spirituality? I will not deny you all the beautiful information and knowledge we have from materialism. It's wonderful. It's how we're talking right now. Right? You don't try and reject science. How is your phone working? Huh? Let me guess, the demiurge? No. How's your car working? Right? Come on, like we don't need to reject it. You have to comprehend this shit. Okay, so materialism inherently takes out all the stuff you're looking for, so you can't try and just plug it back in. It's made not to have that. Materialism was developed as an alternative to the church. Okay, the church in Europe was just running around with his dick out, slapping people with it. And motherfuckers was tired of it. Okay? So they said, look, all the shit you say you got claim over, the self, divinity, destiny, the most high, all of it, you can have it. We're going to talk about something that has none of that. And that's the point. That's the point. Materialism inherently has none of what you're looking for. I don't care if there's a correlation between the seven spectrums of visible light and chakras. It's not that that's what people are talking about. You would be correct in saying that chakras are a map of reality at large, of the cosmos at large. You'd be correct in saying that, but trying to reduce it to the electromagnetic spectrum is short-sighted. It's backwards. But we get reductionism from materialism, and it's not, once again, it's not something you have to throw out. You know, usually when people are trying to figure something out, they use reductionism. They try and reduce what it is they're looking at to its components or pieces. That's reductionism. Trying to take what it is you're looking at, what you want to figure out, and you reduce it to its pieces. That's reductionism. But there are certain things reductionism will not work for. There are certain inherent limitations on reductionism. And once again, just because something has limitations does not mean you throw it out. You comprehend it. Okay? What is spirituality? Spirituality is going to be the mechanism you use to nest yourself to the world. Okay? Spirituality is going to be the mechanism you use to nest, to fit yourself to the world. What do I mean? Without it, and this is once again the result of that materialism, that duality that most people are stuck in and don't observe. Without being nested or fit to the world looks absurd. It looks chaotic. It looks like everyone is crazy. It looks like you're just this person who the only person who knows, and everyone else is just, oh my God, I can't understand how they could be that way, even though you was just that way like a few years ago. Without spirituality, without it, what you end up as is something floating in an absurd world, some absurd, vast world that you are disconnected from. There's your lack of meaning. See, people are looking for an ideal life because they don't know what right is anymore. They don't even know what real is anymore. Why? Because the basis of their ontology has been kicked out. They've been disassociated. Stop. They can't chew that. Fuck! It's a crisis of meaning. People don't know what things mean anymore besides their opinion on it. People don't understand how things mean without just what they feel it means. And it's not a slight. I can't be more literal. Motherfuckers don't know what real means anymore. If I ask you, is Super Mario real? We'll go around and around and around and around and around. Object to subjective, object to subjective, object to subjective, because we have nothing to connect those two. We've been split. The I think, therefore I am, and the material are intrinsically separate based on materialism. It's your premises of thinking. What is spirituality? This is what connects you to the world. And most people are averse to it, who are averse, because they don't want to get into spookism. They don't want to fall back into the trap of blind faith. Okay? And I don't want you to fall into that either, because it's stupid. It was the whole reason you left Christianity. Okay? Well, what's another sign that people don't know what things mean? They'll go to everybody's right, or everything is made up. That's how it feels, right? It feels like everything is just a lie. It feels like everything is made up, right? That's because you are not nested or fit to your reality. That's why it feels like everything is made up. Because you are not nested in your reality. Well, how do I nest myself in my reality? That's a good fucking question. That's a good question. Two things. What's the nature of your predicament, and how are you choosing to agree to it? Dorothy never left Kansas. What was her problem? She did not know the nature of her predicament. Otherwise, she'd have known she didn't left Kansas. And she didn't know how she was continuing to agree to it, which was not tapping them shoes like she should have. Bitch, hit the shoes. You'd have been gone. But she didn't even know about the shoes. She didn't know what was going on. She just wearing it. Somebody else said it. Oh, okay. I guess this is me. It's what I'm doing. Oh, that's what it is. Say chakras. Come on. Come on, guys. Not come on, guys. It's me. I'm the dick in the room. I'm the dick in the room. So that's what I want to get into. That's what I want to get into. What is spirituality? Most people are trying to reignite old systems. It's not going to work. Not because something's wrong with the system, because you are different. What you is supposed to fit into that system. See, once again, people are desperately looking for a way to fit themselves to the world that makes sense, some type of continuity. What does that continuity give you? It tells you how to be in life. How to be. How to be. And that how is going to encompass the doing, what you're going to do. But most of that's going to be relative to what it is you are being. What does it mean for you to be? Now, when I say being, I don't want you to go all the way to just, oh my God, I'm so monolithic. No, slow down. That's what I'm saying. People are looking for a way to be in a contemporary sense without the spookism of the past or without the meaningless, inert explanations of Western science and materialism. They're trying to say energy is chi. No, sweetie. No, sweetie. Energy is matter. Energy is matter. Don't tell me it's chi. No, that's not what they were talking about. Okay, slow. What do you mean dark matter? Why do they say dark? It's still matter. People are desperately trying to find something. And they're not going through the stage of clarity because they think it's clear enough. Look, every single religion, every single right, spiritual path, work, it doesn't matter, all of them answer these three questions for you. And if they're good, they answer them seamlessly. So much so you never have to question it. And it's not to say whether or not these answers are right, who has the right answer. Stop. You've got it wrong. You're confused. Shouldn't be so confused. God. I don't mean you're confused as an insult. I mean you don't know what you don't know. That's why you don't move forward. You just claim there is no forward movement. You're already the start is the finish and you're done. I am the power, Arius. Just... Okay. They're going to answer these three questions for you. Cosmology. Okay. What is the cosmos? If you look at in the Western tradition right now, most cosmologists are physicists. That's materialism, okay? The only idea of what the cosmos is materialism. It's some type of particles, or you reduce it to particles, okay? But like I've said before, like the physicists themselves have been saying for the last 40 years, and quite publicly, it's just that niggas who say do your research don't actually do their research. The physicists for the last 40 years, and quite publicly, have already said that the particles, general relativity and quantum physics, both are an emergent property of something else. They are not fundamentals to reality. Everything that you know that is particulate matter or energy is not fundamental to reality. Melanin cannot be everything. Why? Melanin is particulate matter. Particulate matter is not fundamental to reality in any respect. The people who told you about atoms are telling you this. Like, bro, like this is imagine you made something, bro. You make some shit, right? You introduce it to motherfuckers, and then motherfuckers tell you what the fuck it was. You discovered the shit. You came up with it, right? And then motherfuckers gonna look you in the face, tell you what it is. No, bruh. Materialism is exceptionally good at predicting behavior. Okay? It's exceptionally good. If I pick up this phone and I drop it, it falls. Materialism can predict why that happened. Okay? It can predict why, it can predict how things are going to happen. Okay? That's behavior. It does not tell you what something is. That is ontology. Some people like teleology. Teleology is the idea that what a thing is based on what its end goal is. All right. So to the degree to which this is a role of painter's tape, its teleology would be to tape. Its teleology would be to define things. And so they would say that's the only reality it has. They would say motherfuckers aren't contending with their own. Well, they're not contending with much of anything. Don't be mad. They're babies. Fuck. That's why the book club thing is so hot. Y'all motherfuckers didn't want nobody to read your bedtime story, boy. What difference do these three questions make? The questions and these answers fit you into reality. The idea of chakras is one methodology from a certain group of people that methodology was made for. Okay, it's the fundamentals of a methodology. The zodiac. All right. What else you got? The elements, fourfold to fivefold. Either way you want to do it. The tree of life, right? You got tenfold. All right. Each of these systems were made for a group of people at a certain time in a certain place. The Egyptian pantheon did not have penguins. Not because penguins didn't exist, not because penguins aren't divine. Because the system was made to fit those people in that time, in that place. Them niggas walk up the street, see crocodiles. So crocodiles is in the system. It's very simple. But see, if you confuse the map with the territory, you're going to assume that this is what's really divine. It's the serpent. The serpent is divine. It's a symbol. It's just, I love snakes. I'd love for that to be the case. I'd argue with you all day. Serpents are great. But it's a symbol. I know it's a symbol. What is reality at large? See, what you're doing when you're answering these three questions is just not the right answer with your school trauma. It's not, oh, here's the right answer. No. You are nesting yourself into reality. You are building your explanatory capacity to understand the world. If I went to some ancient Aztec people, I'm not talking to them about atoms. Kamazats. I did a whole thing on Kamazats, right? Kamazats was a deity in the underworld, a bat deity. Was it Babylon? No, Sumerians. Sumerians had Nergal. Nergal was another underworld god. The Egyptians had Osiris, underworld god. The Greeks had Hades, underworld god. Now, our cosmology don't even The Western cosmology don't even consider an afterlife because life don't start. Life is only an epiphenomenon of material, which nobody has no science on. Look, evolutionary theory talks about the progress from one stage to another. It does not talk about its instantiation. Like, some of the agreed axioms in something like evolutionary theory is most of physics. It's an extension of that same cosmology. And it's not to say which one is right or wrong, but you ain't even in the ballpark of right and wrong. Without answers to these questions, we don't have the foundation to determine right and wrong. That was plain, but they still need you to chew that. You need foundation to understand. You need meaning to understand right and wrong. This is why materialism can't tell you right and wrong. Because it's not... Right and wrong aren't particles. Confidence isn't a particle. Thoughts aren't particles. Memories aren't particles. Pain isn't a particle. You can tell me that's not real? What is true? What is right? What is real? These are based on the answers you have to these questions. If the Egyptians and the Sumerians are sitting right here, they have different cosmologies. Okay? It's not which one was right. Because I tell you what, both of them were nested into the reality they perceived. That's the point. What is spirituality? It nests you, it fits you into reality. When you hear people who say, I'm not religious, I'm spiritualist, what they are spooky materialists, because what will they do? They'll try and fit themselves into all of the Western particulate matter words. What do? They replace God with the universe. And what do they mean when they say the universe? Some little galaxy, right? Some little cluster of particles, or they're spooky and they're on the cutting edge. Dark matter. Fuck out of here. I understand why they're doing it. They're trying to take what they have and use it. The question is very synchronistic for me. Yes, that was what I said. You part of the reason I did the fucking show today. Because like I said, I think you might have came late in here. I was lurking in Trav's chat on one of the lives, and I saw you pop up and ask the question. I think I could make a whole show about the question, which is what I'm doing. So, like I said, most times you'll hear people say this. I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. What they mean is that they've taken their concept of religion and inputted materialism. They tried to take materialism and give it a spooky glaze and claim that that's spiritual. No, that's just pseudoscience. Claiming chi is energy is pseudoscience. Claiming chi is energy is pseudoscience. Claiming everything is melanin is pseudoscience. Okay? Saying you gotta activate your DNA because of spooky back oil is pseudoscience. What they are trying to do is take what they have and find a way to fit themselves into the world they experience in a way that makes sense. That is what spirituality does for you. Most people don't understand that because they're just using it as a band-aid to try not to not to hurt or not to hurt as much. I mean, and I can respect that because fuck pain sometimes, but that's not what this is for. It's like if you have a kid and they're using a spoon to dig in the sandbox. Like, okay, I get it. It works, but that's for eating food and shovels exist. So you could do better in two departments, even though you can feel like you're doing right doing that. Spirituality isn't just this thing to make yourself feel better. It is what we use to fit ourselves to the world. Right now, people are having trouble making meaning of the world, figuring out what things mean. People don't know what is real. On the one hand, they want to say, well, of course, anything that's actually a particle is real. Because a lot of people, when they have this conversation, and listen for it, bro, because don't nobody else point this shit out. Listen for it. Motherfuckers will start talking about the spiritual shit, and they'll say, oh yeah, but in real life, hold on. What you mean real life? Why'd you just make that distinction? Because for them, spirituality ain't real life. It's something they use on top of what they're calling real life, materialism, objectivity, or is it subjectivity? Who cares? It's a duality. Descartes died not being able to reconcile dualism. Because you can't. But that's the thing. Materialism was doomed to fail. It cut out all of its meaning mechanisms immediately. But it's not made, listen, materialism isn't made to give you meaning. And people are looking for meaning, and then they try to spookify materialism. Tell you your chakras are really it's glands in your meat bag. Or really it's spooky back oil in your meat bag. No, really, fuck all those things, because it's really something even smaller than that you can't even fucking see. And that's what it is. DNA. Well, you ain't never seen no DNA. I'm not telling you DNA don't exist. What I'm telling you is your capacity for belief, and maybe disbelief at the same time, needs to be examined because you're contradicting yourself. The pieces people are trying to put together to make spirituality don't make that. You can't make that. Bro, I'm trying to make a meatloaf, right? No meat. It's not a meatloaf. Materialism. Now, the doctrine of materialists, the opinion of those who maintain that the soul of man is not a spiritual substance distinct from matter, but that is the result or effect of the origin of matter in the body. Thank you. Great job, Society Ejects. Materialism. Yes. What are they claiming here? The opinion those who maintain the soul of man is not a spiritual substance distinct from matter. Materialists' claim is that all there is matter. To explain the subjective aspects of matter, they have the word energy. And niggas have captured that word, don't even understand it, but it's easy to say, and everyone says it. It's the result or effect, or the organization of matter in the body. So, from the materialist perspective, thoughts, memories, emotions, perception itself, are all phenomena that manifest from the material body. Well, it's because the neurons are set up this way. No science on it yet. It's because when the particles come together in this formation, then it creates and generates. No, it doesn't. There's no science on it. Pop psychology and pseudoscience. Pop psychology and pseudoscience. No one does their research. They find a correlation and claim that it's causation. Correlation is not causation. We talked about this. Let's see, I'm talking too much. That's what it's telling me. And I want you to get this shit, man. Because could all be so simple, and then we could actually get to some fucking work. You can't tell me that everything is made up. Is the fact that everything is made up also made up? Nothing's real. Okay, is that statement real? You can't prove a negative. That's why you're wasting your time making that as a fundamental. Don't try and prove a negative. The reason you think everything is just made up is because you don't understand yourself in the context of the reality you perceive. This is the crisis in meaning people are having as a result of materialism. You've been untethered from your sense. You're not even just your sense. You've been untethered from your capacity to define your own participation in divinity. You've been untethered from your capacity to define your own participation in divinity. Materialism does not facilitate or afford you any participation in any divinity. Why? Because there is none from the premises of materialism. It could all be so simple. You cannot use atoms to get where you're trying to go. You cannot use any quantum anything, magnetosphere, melanin, Tesla coil. You can't use these things to talk about spirituality. You've missed the whole point. This is not some extension of your knowledge of material. This is not just some extension of your knowledge of matter and the materialism. I'm not telling you throw that out. What I'm telling you is there's more to understand. And if you could comprehend what you have in your hand, you could see. You would start to know what it is that you don't know, and the direction to go would be obvious. But because you don't know what you don't know which way to go. Alice in Wonderland, talking to the Cheshire Cat, right? She lost in the woods. Matter of fact, not only is she lost in the sense she don't know which way to go, she don't even know where she at. She don't know where she want to go or could go. When she asked the Cheshire Cat, which way do I go? What's the right way? It's like, where you trying to go? I don't know. You don't know where you trying to go. You don't know where you at, bitch. It don't matter which way you go. It don't even matter if you go at that point. Like, bro, there's no reason to fall. Well, okay. I was going to be a dick. I understand why people fall into nihilism and absurdism. Because you feel like nothing makes sense. Some people go the route of, I guess it's somewhat existential, I guess. I don't know. I have to chew on that. But some people go the route of, well, we can never understand the ultimate reality. That's fine. That's fine. And you can actually work with that. But see, that statement doesn't mean don't try and understand anything. Because you can't. Oh, God. You can't. You can't not understand. Like, how would you even understand not understanding? Like, come on, bro. Like, motherfucker. Babies. I feel like Alice right now. I be looking to get laid. Yes, bro. Real shit. Real shit. And this is no shade. I please do not tell no shade in this. That is what most people are doing. They're secretly looking for someone to lead them without feeling like they're being led. This is how I know that. Because it's subtle, bruh. So people will start out, right? This is how they'll be before they meet me. They're usually rejecting any type of order, or they're rebelling against some ultimate order, some ultimate truth, right? Well, not even, that's the thing. They haven't even considered ultimate truth yet. They're rebelling against what they think is true, what they thought was true. All this stuff has just been a lie. This shit ain't really it. This shit ain't really it. Okay, cool. You could be right about that. But what happens once you fuck with me and we start to chew on some of these ideas? What I find is that what they're looking for are ultimate rules. This is why motherfuckers misinterpret the 7 Hermetic principles. Because what they're really looking for are the rules of existence. They can deny the rules so much as they don't want to have to follow what they don't want to follow. But because they do that, they miss how deeply they're looking to follow something. And it's not bad, but you have to be able to recognize it. This is why we have these 3 questions. It's innate. It's part of what it is to be. And so motherfuckers don't realize that's what they're desperately looking for. And I'm saying, you don't have to follow anyone. Look at the fundamentals of what your hunger is. God. Ooh, sure, that stop. Nihilism is my crutch too. Shit, stop. Yeah, bro, it's a dead end. It's a dead end, and you should have turned you should have turned at the gas station 10 miles back. But recently I had an aha moment that there is a bright light in this world. It's not all evil and spooky shit. Yeah, most people go to the spooky because they like the aesthetic. They like how it looks. They like to see themselves with a spooky filter on Instagram or dressed in all black. They like the aesthetic. And, the aesthetic of darkness is cool. Everybody wants to be cool, but it's... Every Sith Lord is maimed. All of them are maimed. What is maimed? They are gruesomely damaged. All of them. It's like par for the course on the dark side. The motherfuckers like to play cool. That's what I'm saying. Most motherfuckers are only talking to y'all out of fun. And people will listen like they're learning. Like, no, that motherfucker just venting. Yep. Running away from pastor, but still looking for pastors on YouTube. Yep. There you go, Sidey Ejects. And that's what I'm saying. I can only say this because I've been that too. That's how I know. How you think real recognize real? Damn, the rules of existence. Recently found out I'm just a conscious Christian. I ain't even grow up religious either, bruh. I can tell you, the reason that happens, this is why I say human is a lie. If the major Abrahamic religions that are popular today, let's say there are 3 pieces of food on a plate, right? You got some chicken, some steak, and some fish, right? Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and maybe you got little side dishes, all these other little things. Niggas trying to compete, right? The plate, more especially because of westernization, materialism, the plate that all of that shit sits on. So regardless of which of those religions you claim to leave, what you're going to fall into is materialism, i.e. humanity. Humanity is inextricably material. The whole basis of the idea of humanity is materialism. And not only that, most of the Western world is given to you through the English language. The English language is deeply connected to Christianity. Look, oh my God! Jesus! You understand that? How many motherfuckers have left Christianity, ain't been in church in years, but still say, oh Lord, you need Jesus. It's part of the language. A lot of the English language comes from the Bible. Hell, English wasn't really much of a language until Shakespeare and crew started making it one with art and culture, with the use of the language. Before it was a collection of different dialects from the tribes of Europe. Because there's a lot of talk about whether or not Shakespeare was Francis Bacon. Francis Bacon, not Francis, is it Francis Bacon? Francis Bacon tastes right. Anyways, I'll continue because I could be wrong. It could be a different name I'm thinking of, but I'm pretty sure it's Francis Bacon because he's the one who was commissioned to write the King James Version of the Bible. When King James wanted to, go against the witches, that's the idea witches comes from. The King James Version. Dumbasses, I'm out of Christianity, I'm spiritual. No, you're not. Dumbasses, stop. Fuck. Anyways, Francis Bacon was commissioned to write the King James Version of the Bible. There's talk that Francis Bacon was Shakespeare. Shakespeare made the English language for all intents and purposes. Shakespeare is responsible for that. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers don't look into the history of what's in their hand, what they are trying to use. I like to talk to anybody in English and say the word God, and what comes up? Christianity and their characterization of that position, of course. Really starting to realize that this world is perfect. It's only fucked up because of the way I'm perceiving it. Yes, I cannot stress that enough. This world is perfect, even though there are things that you dislike. Well, there are things that you like. Fuck. Francis Bacon. Okay, yes, thank you. Because I know I'm not the only one to do that shit. Oh yes, that's where I go back to. All that shit's connected. It's inextricably connected. So I don't want to tell you to throw everything out that you have. What I want you to do is re-examine what it is. Because the answers to these three questions are not right answers. See, that's motherfuckers' trauma from school. You hear a question, all of a sudden your insecurity come up because you're like, damn, there's a question, I better get the right answer or else I'm gonna look stupid. Is there gonna be a test? Did I do my homework? God, look, I get it. I hear it. It's fine. It's cool. It can be overcome. The question isn't for you to get a right answer. It's for you to contemplate the process of coming to these answers. And that's it. Small story. When I was online initiating into masonry, good one. Because I'm doing my own independent study. That's part of the reason I was in positions of officer so quickly. It's because I hit the ground knowing what most motherfuckers spend their life in the shit trying to learn. I was at the door, but not with the shit in my pocket already. Anyways, this was interesting because I still to this day do not know who the fuck called me. But so I'm sitting on the front porch, I'm smoking, I'm studying, I'm looking at shit on the computer. I had a laptop, and I'm online. I'm just like you're online for a sorority in college or whatnot, right? And I'm not being hazed because these are old dudes. They ain't hazing you. But I mean, you're gonna be there because it was 3 years. Anyways, I'm sitting there. This had to be like within the first few months. And I get a call, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" You know my name. I'm like, okay, what's going on, man? He's like, "Yeah, I heard you was online. I know you got a few things, but I got these 3 questions for you, and I want you to be able to answer them for your process." And these were the 3 questions. Come on, give me the 3 questions again. Fuck, What are the 3 questions? One I know is, are you a Mason? The second one is, are you a traveling man? And the third one was, fuck me, sideways, man. What's the third question? Fuck, I cannot remember the third question. But anyways, it is trivial. It really is trivial. That's what I'm going to continue. What happened? The point of the story. First thing, I got off the phone. I was like, I can answer that. Boom, boom, boom. Because you know me, right? And as soon as I was about to swallow all 3 of my answers, there's another part of me that stopped and said, now hold on, nigga. If you answer those 3 questions that quickly, have you considered that maybe there's more to those questions? I was like, I never talked to whoever the fuck that was again. No one ever asked me about those questions. No one ever asked me for those questions. But they led me on a whole fucking trip, bro. A whole fucking trip. And so, my point in giving the story is that those questions were not about getting the right answer. They were about the process to coming to an answer, which gave me a whole different answer than I ever would have imagined. And so these questions are the same. All right, and I'm not gonna be some mysterious person on the phone that you're never gonna talk to again. I'm gonna be this nigga right here who here for the smoke, plenty of ways to contact me, whatever. These aren't about getting the right answer. These are about forming the foundation of what it means for an answer to be right. White man Sky Daddy, what's that? That's what I think of when I hear God. And you have to embrace the fact that that's the case. Because if you ever want to change it, you can't change it until you acknowledge that it's the case. But you may not even need to change it. Why? Bro, it could all be so simple. But yes, you got to contend with that shit. Hell yeah. Our idea of God is definitely Christian fundamentals. We can't run from that shit. Yes, especially when you start to get into the history of Christianity, where they got that shit from, how it's evolved. Because yes, religion was co-opted regularly by different invading forces. I mean, shit. Fuck. Because look, why not? I took your house. You know, I burned your fields. I enslaved your children and raped your wives. But you still sitting there with your chest out? Why? What is it that lives in this motherfucker that won't die? Their connection to divinity, to the degree to which they feel at home in their existence. Job in the Bible. You know, God and the devil basically playing a game with the nigga, right? Yo, go fuck him up. See, I bet you he ain't gonna fuck with you. And God's like, nigga, you don't know me. Watch. That's Job's life. Get that nigga dirty, bro. But I mean, that's the thing. You know, in war, the religious units go first. The religious units go first. I may be able to conquer you without taking a shot. Save all the infrastructure, save the lives for workers and whores. Right? But if I can't untether you from the heavens, I'm going to have to destroy you and salt the earth of your existence. But now motherfuckers is happy being untethered from the heavens. Depending on what you know could advance you faster. I realized that making beats, adding groove to my drums tremendously added value to my beats. Adding groove to my drums. I don't know what that means. I'm not a a beat maker, my thought would mean that is instead of just like taps in the beat, it's like some kind of melody. That's the word I want for. Some kind of melody, maybe. I'm not really sure. I'm not a rapper. I'm that black guy. You know, he got like the black guy. One who really can't swim. I can swim. One who really can't dance. I can dance. One who can't rap. That one's me. I could. I got bars. I don't. I'm not a rapper. Anyways, I can run through this so quick, bro. I can do this shit like the back of my fucking head. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna refill my coffee real quick, and I'm about to slay this. I'm about to slay this because I want to take you from the base to the end, all right? And you can look at the shit as much as you want, man. Adding what Jay Dilla called bounce, making the drums bounce, bro. I don't know who Jay Dilla is. Yeah, I'm that guy. Please remember this. I'm that nigga. I'm him. Oh, shit. Hot coffee. I'm gonna piss. I can't have you niggas listening to my pee. That's nasty. Like, motherfuckers be doing that these days. Like, I listen to pee. I should have some kind of like bathroom break music, you know, like what's that? What's that shit from? Is that Jeopardy? I think it might be Jeopardy. Some Jeopardy music while I take a piss. Jay Dilla the GOAT, man. Fire music, one of the greatest beat makers of all time. Hey man, I wouldn't know. Donut is a great album by him. It's all beats. Oh, like no lyrics? Well, instrumental beat. That might be cool. Yeah, you can't be peeing on live anymore. I had to crack it down a lot. Shit. Thanks to Diddy. Diddy was peeing too? Man, look, bruh. I don't have the mouth to chew none of this Diddy stuff until your boy with the island who just magically died, until we see that list. Because look, you know, YouTube will let me say Diddy. It won't let me say old boy name. Hey, look, I ain't here for nobody else till that list come out. What's that? Huh? Yeah, Jeopardy. Okay, I used to watch Jeopardy. I'm like, why do I have that shit in my head? Okay, here we go, guys. I'm about to take you through it. The book model. And you can look this up. The link will be in the description. You get the details. You can download. You can do whatever you want. You can pretend this shit is yours. Take my name off of it. Put your name on there. And go ahead and flex. Don't care. Don't care. Watch me do it because I know how to do it. Anyways. I call these questions the existential essentials. All right? These are the fundamental things you need to nest yourself to reality. Anyone, not because I say so. All right, metaphysics is philosophy. All right, metaphysics is philosophy. There's an order to this. There's a method to the madness. Okay, the first thing we start with is what is reality at large? This is your ontology. Ontology is a branch of philosophy that studies what is real, what exists, and what is the nature of existence. What are the categories? Because that's very important philosophically. What constitutes the category? Next, what is reality in context of that at large? I had to change a few things up because some of the words were tripping people. But I get it. I helped you out here. So, first thing was, what is reality at large? The second question is, what is reality in context of that at large? All right, so you have an at large and an in context. That in context is your epistemology. Epistemology is the branch of philosophy that deals with knowledge or knowing. All right? The in context of that at large is how you know that at large, the mechanism, okay? Now, once again, and I really shouldn't say you, because I'm talking about epistemology at large. It's how knowing works. You ask questions like, what is knowledge? How do we know? Is there knowledge? Like, there's a discussion that's already been going on, and motherfuckers won't even tap into it. They just claim, I know. It's in me. Shut up. Anyways, I'm sorry. Now, the third question, and this is the important question motherfuckers try and jump to and don't realize they're missing. What is the narrative or continuity between the two? Between the two what? The at large and the in context. What is the narrative continuity between the two? And because I know you're familiar with Christianity, I know you're familiar with this stuff here, okay? What is reality at large? Heaven, hell, and earth, right? Real simple. Ask a Christian, right? That's the basic cosmology, the basic reality at large. Well, what is the in context of that at large? Well, with heaven, you got angels. You got God. With hell, you got the devil, demons. All of those are in context. What about earth? You got man and woman in the context, right? Now, okay, cool. We got the first two questions, the at large and the in context. But then you'll say areas. What the fuck does that have to do with me? That's a good question. That is a good question. And that's what the third question answers. What is the narrative or continuity between the two? Well, let's take it back to the Christian example. Well, God started this shit with Lucifer. Lucifer fell, tried to make it up with Adam. Adam fell, came and did Christ. Not only did Christ fall, but he rose. And, just so you know, that nigga coming back. So it gave you the beginning of the story and the end. And if you have the beginning and the end of the story, where are you? In the middle! Right! See, with the story, it nests you into the reality you exist, you perceive. At first, we discuss what are the fundamentals we will use to describe it. Then we describe it with the narrative continuity. Why the narrative? Because it nests you into the world. So once you have the narrative, there's all kinds of methodologies you can employ. Well, Jesus coming back, so I'm going to just wait. I'm going to sit here and wait. Jesus coming back, I got to go tell niggas. Jesus is coming back. I better not be sinful when he get here. I'm going to start repenting and confessing. This is not about what is right. At this level of analysis, we are building the foundation for what would be right. You ask a Christian, based on their fundamentals, what is right? They're going to use this. They're going to use their cosmology to determine, to navigate, to get their bearings. This is right. Every system does this. Every system does it, and the good systems do it so well, you never question the system. It's not because you're supposed to rebel against all the systems. Even that's a system. No choice is a choice. No path is a path. Stop trying to be cool. You're missing the point. You don't want to rebel against systems, illusion. You want to comprehend its utility. Okay? So all these systems, the religions were to nest you into the reality of your community, of your peoples. That's part of the reason Bobby Hemmett says this shit is over. He's not talking about the white man's rule. Bruh, what's over is the necessary age of the warring gods. Sumeria, Egypt. Their cosmologies aren't going to mix. As a matter of fact, they predict it's not going to mix, so they have a whole motherfucking setup for war. How could they mix if this group says I'm the chosen of the Most High and this group says it too? How does that mix? It doesn't. For the most part, it's not supposed to. But now, especially after colonialism, the world is different. It used to be you never spent most of your day around people you don't know who aren't your family. You do it all the time now. It used to be the niggas you knew. Like you hear about tribes and shit in Africa. What tribe you from, bro? That's a big shit, nigga. That's a big family. Me and my niggas connected to the Most High. All of my niggas is hard. Call them Beatles, nigga. Look, this stuff connects you to reality by determining or making a claim as to what reality is. And see, the metric for whether or not your claim is accurate is how coherent it is. How coherent and self-sustaining it is. See, look, you can do it with materialism too, the Big Bang, right? What is reality at large? Well, we don't really know, but we know it comes from a Big Bang. Okay, cool. Before there was nothing, this hot, dense, and then boom, right? Right? Okay, what's in the context of that? Where there's atoms, molecules, quarks, but they'll never answer the third question for you. How do you fit into that? Because it's not made to do that. Even in experiments, they take every measure they can to remove the bias of the observer, the experimenter. They go out of their way to take the you out of it. And so what are people trying to do? They're trying to answer that third question with materialism. And what do you get? Pseudoscience. It can all be so simple. It can all be so fucking simple. Anyways, let me continue. In terms of the Bookman, anything I teach, okay? These are the first two. These are the only axioms I need. And I can explain to you any and everything else, okay? Any and everything else, I will explain to you as long as you agree to these two axioms. Every system does that. Even materialism. As long as you'll agree to Big Bang or hot, dense thing that expanded that we can't explain, I'll explain everything else. Every system works that way. It's not about subverting that system. It's not about subverting that, because then what happens? You're left with nihilism. And nihilism is a dead end. The only reason you end up at nihilism is because you were digging so much, because you were looking for ultimate rules. That's the only reason you ever end up at nihilism, is because you're looking for ultimate rules. The thing that you claimed you were looking for was back there a few miles ago, and you were supposed to turn. There was a sign and everything. But you done spent so much time rejecting signs. Nah. Fuck a sign. Nah, bro. Look. That's why you end up at nihilism. is because you're still looking for a deeper underlying rule to follow. And once you've gone that deep, there's nothing there. Why? Because what you is the thing that puts something there. You make meaning. You can't help but make meaning. This is why you get the nihilistic narcissism, because the nihilists will reduce all meaning just to themselves. And don't examine that. Just feel good. Assholes, stop. I'm sorry. My apologies. These two axioms, okay? And the reason I love this is because most people who claim to be spiritual already agree to these axioms. Okay? The first of the two. What is an axiom? I apologize. When you think of an axiom, think of an axis. So if I had a sphere and it had an axis, right? The relationship that axis has to a sphere is the relationship an axiom has to a theory or a system. The relationship an axis has to a sphere is the same relationship that an axiom has to a system, theory, or body of knowledge. Okay? So these are the fundamental agreements. All right? Just like Christianity, what's your fundamental agreements? God, Jesus died for your sins. If you're a U.S. citizen, the fundamental agreement is the national debt. It's all right. I meant to throw that over your heads. It's fine. Anyways, what's the first one? Okay, what's the first thing I know you're going to agree with? I know you agree with this shit already. I am not or more than my body. Okay, I am not my body or I am more than my body. Already, you've left the realm of materialism. You need to understand that. That claim alone, you've abandoned DNA, melanin, spooky back oil, gone. Just this claim alone. I am not my body, or I'm more than my body. You've already abandoned materialism. You need to acknowledge it so you stop using the tools. Second, the physical realm is holographic or illusionary. Now keep in mind, the word illusion does not mean that it's not real. It means it's not what it appears to be. It means it's not what it appears to be. It doesn't mean it's not real. It's very real. It's not what it appears to be. Or it's holographic. All right, what are the qualities of a hologram? Every single piece of the hologram contains all the pieces of the entire image. Or a copy of the entire image. Every single piece of the hologram is a copy of the entire image. That's why you can look at it from any angle and it's going to look the same, because every single piece of that projection is a copy of the whole projection. You get that even with DNA and cells and shit. Like, the physical world is clearly holographic. Okay? Most of you motherfucking spiritual people will agree to these two axioms. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold you to it. See, we're going to take this beyond feeling good or better about life. You're going to live a shit life. Things aren't going to work out for you. You're going to die in the gutter alone. Does that mean something's wrong with the world? That's what I'm saying. Edgar Allan Poe, drunk in a gutter, dead. Who the fuck is this nigga? Man, kick that nigga's pieces of paper. What's them scribbles? Fuck this nigga. Now, you can't take literature class without somebody pulling him out. You can't even say Raven without niggas thinking nevermore. Stop thinking about what the fuck you're doing is based on the physical life narrative. You're the narrative of your humanity. Start to actually embrace the idea that a lot more is going on than you think. Our lives are not our own. But the nihilistic narcissists can't contend with that, because they strip the meaning out of everything else, and that's the only thing that has meaning. What do you mean my life isn't mine? I do what I want to. Now, what are the secret rules? Come on, Aries. I know you know the real secret rules. Bruh, I'm being a dick, but it really happens. It literally happens. Bruh, get out of here. Anyways, these are the two agreed axioms. I know you agree with these things. You niggas say it all the times, but you don't contend with it. We're going to contend with it, okay? First thing I want to hit you with. Because everybody says it. Go within. What does it mean to go within? We're going to dip into a bit of methodology here. And it's easy. It's wonderful. Because you don't got to go unlock something, get to a certain checkpoint. You're never not the thing. Anyways, you'll hear a lot of people say go within. Most of them don't understand what it means because they'll reduce it to the physical body. If go within meant go within the body, then what you've gone back to is saying that what I am is the body. What the point is the body. The body's a piece of the physical world, both of which are holographic, are illusionary. You cannot reduce it to something in the body. We already left that behind. Go within does not mean activate your melanin. Go within does not mean cranial nerves. Go within does not mean back oil. Go within does not mean spooky glands. All of those things are materialism. All of them. They're the physical body. Now, I'm not telling you to get rid of it, because I doubt you could. What I'm telling you is to turn away from it like you say you do. See, that is the direction of go within. Okay, so look, here we'll check the diagram a bit here, okay? The top one is what I call default dead. This is before going within. Okay, this is just the default, regular, everyday you right now chilling. Your focus is on the physical body and the physical world. I'm not. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay. I know you're spiritual. It's okay. Hey, slow down. Physical world and the physical body. That's what you're focused on. To go within is to begin to focus on the part of yourself that is not physical. Okay? That is not physical. If you don't know, this is Brandon. This is my lovely assistant, Brandon. I want to zoom just a little more on this, bro, because I don't think you can see it as well as I want you to be able to see it. Okay, here we go. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Brandon, okay? Now, Brandon, like everyone else, agrees to the two axioms. I'm not my physical body, and the physical world is an illusion. All right, we're going to turn away from those. But what does he have left? He'll still say, well, I'm Brandon. You can't get rid of that. Matter of fact, there's no particle that makes the difference. What, cut off your ear? Cut your leg off, put you in a different place, change your family. Even changing the name sometimes don't do it. But then again, what is a name particles? No. So the thing we're talking about is not physical. So the first thing, to have a comprehension of going within, you need to have a distinction between physical and non-physical. And please let me remind you, that is not the distinction between matter and energy. Energy is another way of saying matter. I'm showing you the duality here, not because what I'm ultimately talking about is a duality, but to begin the process. Because right now, it's just materialism, physical world, it's a singular thing. I want to get you beyond that singular experience of the physical world because I know you have more than that. You have more than a physical experience. What is pain? It's not in the body. Where are your memories? Where are your thoughts? I can cut open every neuron and never see a thought. In the physical world, if I have an apple, okay, That apple has to be made of cells. Those cells have to be made of molecules, and those molecules have to be made of atoms. Those atoms have to be made of quasar, whatever you want to say in the quantum world. That apple had to have come from a tree. That tree had to have come from a seed. That seed had to have come from a whole line of trees before it. Physical world. Imagine an apple. If you have trouble imagining just an apple, imagine an apple on the counter in your mother's house on a sunny day. Give it a little context, it helps. That apple does not need cells, atoms. Hell, you cut that apple open and there could be a dragon inside. But now we'll get back to the ontology. Well, Aries, that's just my imagination. That's not real. Okay, let's follow that. If imagination does not constitute the category of reality, then what are you claiming does? Let me guess. Particles. Materialism. If you think thoughts are something the brain is producing, you're a materialist. You're a materialist. If you even ask the physicists, but they'll tell you that's not the case. They like to try and find it. They are very confident that they will find it in the brain because there are a lot of correlations. But correlation is not causation. Correlation is not causation. John Vervaeke gives, I think, is a good example of this. He says, in the last decades, the amount of piracy on the high seas has reduced. But at the same time, the amount of CO2 released into the atmosphere has increased. There's a correlation between the two. But that's not to say that the reduction of piracy is causing the increase in CO2. Correlation is not causation. So because of the correlation, they're looking in the brain, but the science is showing it's not causation. Imagination is not something that comes from the brain. And if you think so, you're still a materialist, just like you were still a Christian. And it's okay, but you have to acknowledge it before you can move past it. You can't spend so much of your time just trying to rebel against it. Anyways, you have to make the distinction in your own experience, and I'm helping you here, okay? Look, physical finger, physical body, okay? Thought. Not even with a microscope, right? Courage. Here's a good one. The past and the future. Where are those? Right? See, when I'm saying this, I know you already agree with this stuff. Your issue is it's muddled with other things you think you need, but you don't understand what they do. LOL. We agree with the first axioms, but our actions show different. Exactly. Exactly. Your actions show differently. And look, fuck when niggas say what you do, that shows it. That shows it. Belief without actions is hollow. And most motherfuckers just have hollow belief. They say what other people have said. They feel confident because enough other people have said it. And so it's just blind faith. Same thing they was doing in Christianity, but now they have spooky science words, and so it's more real. Fuck out of here. All right, so this is what I'm going to do, guys. First thing we're going to get to is in the Bookman model, I'm going to show you, because the Bookman model is a contemporary model. Okay? It's a contemporary model. It's a model that's made to fit people today. So you do not have to reduce yourself to pseudoscience and blind faith. I don't care about electromagnetic correlation. Pseudoscience. It's not spirituality. It's not. Okay? Let's move from the physical world. Okay? Let's move our perception from that. Because really, I'd say your perception is there. It's about how you're defining things. You're using the frameworks of materialism and Christianity to try and define something outside of it, but you don't know what a limit is. Fuck, don't be a dick. I don't think I'm being a dick. Fuck. Well, that's your problem. Okay. Look, the first of the existential essentials, right? What are we talking about when we're talking about reality at large? In the example of Christianity, I said, okay, there's heaven, hell, and earth. Right? Easy. Basic. In the Kemetic cosmology, there was the black land and the red land. See, people think the black land is, oh, it's the skin. No, it's my 9/8 curl. No, you dumbasses. There was a black land and a red land. The black land was home, was the land of the people, the chosen. That's what Christianity is stupid. How are you not the chosen people in your own religion? Answer, because it's literally a slave religion. Anyways, the black land was the land of the people. The red land was the land of the desert, the wilderness, chaos, the foreigner, sect. He ruled the red land. See, bro, that was part of the cosmology. You can't just take that and try and plug it into materialism. Anyways, so if we're talking about the Bookman model, a contemporary model of cosmology that's not just materialism with spooky words. Fuck. So what are we saying? Reality at large. I will give you a threefold framework. I'm going to tell you exactly why. Okay? First and foremost, because I can already feel your neck turning to the side like a dog that just saw something weird. My nigga, you've seen this. You've seen this already, okay? Like I said, if you can get past the two agreed axioms, I can explain the rest of the shit. You've seen these things already. The right angle I'm showing you at the top from the Bookman model is not different from the maps that you have seen before, okay? I can correspond it very well. I can give you the correlations all day. Okay, which one's the real one? If you ask an Egyptian what was the real one, he gonna say Egypt. If you ask Sumerian what's the real one, he gonna say it's Sumerian. The reason you are asking which one's the real one is because you don't already have one. It's not about finding which one is the right one. It's about whether or not you have one or not. Yeah. But you don't want to make your cosmology arbitrary. And this is why. Look, when you're answering those three questions, you need this to be the foundation for your power to explain everything else, for your capacity to explain anything else. It has to be foundational. If you're a Christian, right, and okay, what's reality at large? And instead of saying heaven, hell, and the devil, right? Heaven, hell, and earth, sorry. Instead of saying heaven, hell, and earth, right? What this motherfucker says is, carrot, carrot, and carrot. I mean, it's not wrong, but you can't do anything with that. Because how is that going to move into some in context? What's the in context? Within carrot is carrot in carrot doing carrot. You don't even want to figure out how to fit yourself in there. It's like, what? It's just all carrot? And carrot is carrot? It makes no sense. These fundamentals are your mechanism of making sense. In the Garden of Eden, God asked Adam to name everything. Why? Why does God have Adam name everything? God just made it. Well, he can't make names? Adam's perspective is completely and vastly different from God's. That's part of the whole thing about eating the fruit. Their perspective was vastly different from the Most High. And so in order to comprehend, understand one another, he gave Adam the authority to name so that God could see what he saw. But what does the serpent do? You should be able to see how God sees. Come on now, wait. No. See, I'm getting a lot better at this. I am not eating as much. That was wonderful. So, like I said, you've seen these things. This is not something unfamiliar. What's happening here is I'm pointing to the fact that what you thought is familiar, you don't actually know. You feel like you know because you can name the names. Like, look, look at the model I'm using. Just because somebody can say these three phrases doesn't mean they know what this is, what I'm talking about. Repeat it to yourself. Primordial realm, non-physical realm, physical realm. Just because you can repeat component words doesn't mean you know what it is. And that's okay. But you have to comprehend that. You have to deal with that. You have to contend with that before you can move past it. There are different levels of knowing. Oh God, here he goes with levels. No. I'm not gonna let this slide. I got it because I have to. Fuck. And I don't want to put that in the Bookman model because I wouldn't say it is the Bookman model. Here, look. I have this in the Gilded, bro. It's in the study material. Because I didn't, the first person I heard to say that shit was John Vervaeke. And I was like, I have to make a visual for that. Because motherfuckers aren't going to understand because he was just saying it in a lecture. And I'm like, I saw the map as he said it. And I'm like, ooh, yes. Niggas got to see it to understand what he's saying because they can't chew. They don't understand the words. That's okay. That's okay. You have to not know before you know. It's a process. But you can't undergo the process if you claim to already have finished it. Anyways, 4 types of knowing, okay? Most people in the Western world today, in the materialist world today, consider propositional knowing to be the highest form of knowing. If I know a particular phrase, now I know. How do you know you know? I can say the phrase. I am that I am. If you know, you know. Fuck out of here. God, this is why I hate that if you know, you know. You just drop in hints to nowhere. Fuck. Remember, it's a branch of philosophy, epistemology. Niggas will claim metaphysics, but it's pseudoscience. You've done no thinking. You've done no philosophy. God, I just want to bite. Okay. Most people are caught up in the propositional type of knowing. All right. The way we remember that type of knowledge is through semantics, through words and phrases. So you can tell me the names of the chakras. You can tell me the names of the Sephiroth on the tree. Hell, you can tell me the names of the pillars, the paths. Right? You can tell me what each of the colors represents. Right? Propositions. That's one type of knowing. I won't deny you that. Great job. You read it in a book. Somebody told it to you and you can repeat it. That is the pinnacle of school. Let me ask you this. Did you have to go to school to learn to tie your shoes? Did you have to go to school to learn to ride a bike? Did you have to go to school to learn to fuck? No. No. Because there are other types of knowing Aside from propositional semantics, okay? There's other types of knowing, procedural knowing. And people, when you're asking, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? That's because you're starving for these other types of knowing. You keep trying to pump up the proposition to have some revelation or enlightenment, but none of that shit comes without these other types of knowing. Procedural knowing, knowing how to do something, like how to tie your shoes. You may know how to tie your shoes, but if somebody told you how to explain it to a group of kindergartners, you may stumble over that. Even if you tied your shoes for years, you may stumble on making it into propositions. There's so many things you motherfuckers know, but have a hard time putting into words. There's so many things you know on these other levels that when I ask you to speak it, and you have to flip it into this propositional form of knowing, you start to stumble. It's natural. But you have to understand why that's happening. There are different distinctions in your knowing. Perspectival knowing. What it's like, what it's like to be this. Okay, so what it's like to be a thief. You may not even have been a thief before, but how do you know? Maybe you've seen a story of a thief. How do we store this? Episodic, in episodes, okay? So maybe you didn't steal anything, but you saw that nigga who stole something, or you heard a story in your mythology, the cosmology, the theology of your world, your culture, your civilization. There's a story about somebody who steals, like maybe Set stole something from Horus, and that is the episodic memory of what it means to be a thief. See, here's what we can have for today. Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping. I mean, I think it's an accurate view of a thief, but it's a view of a thief nonetheless. Okay? You never have to steal, yet you can know a thief. Okay? That's perspectival knowing, all right? Participatory knowing, and this is the beauty, because the memory of participatory knowing is what we call self. Your self is memory. It's a collection of participatory types of memory. See, this is when your motherfuckers asking, how do I make this part of my everyday life? Why are you asking? Because you're starving for that type of knowing. The proposition, even though it feels good, isn't giving you all the levels. And you need all the levels to say you know. ZJ, gang, good to see you in the chat. Sorry, DJs, we agree with the first act. The only thing we can do, carrots. Yeah, the only thing we can do with carrots is physical shit. Like, bruh, the words have to mean something. This is why part of the reason I want to get away from the Hermetic principles. Because, man, when people made those things, our language was not what it is today. For example, the word mind. The word mind, people reduce to brain function. Some phenomena of the brain. That's not what the word was. When motherfuckers was saying all is mind, they weren't talking about thinking or some epiphenomenon from a piece of meat. It's worm food, bruh. Like, I might have a worm in it right now. It's worm food. Why not? Or what about your plain meal? Fucking little bitty piece of flesh with a sprinkle of calcium on it. And that's what stopped niggas? Please. Bro, you the supreme, but that's what stopped you. Well, you might not be that supreme. You might not be that supreme. That's all I'm saying, bro. Okay, I'm being a dick. Sorry. Types of knowing. This is part of the study materials that are in the guild. Al Dickey, good to see you in the chat. Peace, everyone. All right. War no one. I'll throw you that one. All right, so this is what we're talking about. in the Bookman model, a cosmological model for the contemporary man and woman. A cosmological model for the contemporary man and woman. What am I going to say reality at large is? Reality at large is composed of three elements: primordial realm, non-physical realm, and physical realm. You see that red part, physical realm? Everything you know of materialism, you don't have to throw it out. You need to put it in its place. All the knowledge of Western science can fit right there. You don't have to get rid of any of it. I promise you. All of it can fit right there. You can put your melanin in there, your DNA. All right, please just stop with the spooky back oil. Unless you niggas start doing some research or some experiments, okay, just stop with spooky back oil. I really hope. Because don't yet. Don't yet, because I will go. Fuck. Like I said, this is not something you have not seen before. You've seen this. What I've done is reduce it to simply three fundamentals. I'm not going to give you 10, 7, 5, 4, 12, 21, tarot, 21. Because I can correlate it to it for you, but you don't need that many pieces. You can't even seem to chew on 3. Take your time. Fuck. What these are is a map of reality at large. A map of reality at large. Okay? Let's talk about it. These are the 3 fundamental elements, okay? Right now we're having a discussion about ontology. The fundamentals of the nature of what exists. Okay? So if you're saying primordial, non-physical, and physical, okay? That's what I'm saying. The top image is the way I generally depict it. The bottom image is a more intuitive way of understanding the relationships between these 3 densities of infinity. Okay? I take infinity and divide it into 3, as opposed to dividing it into 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12. 21. Look. Same territory. I'm dividing it differently to be conducive to where you come from, the perspective you come from. Okay? So when I'm talking about primordial, physical, and non-physical, okay? This is going to be the relationship between them. The primordial, all right? That's going to be the empty space in this picture. The symbol for the empty space is the X, Y, and Z axis, okay? So that empty space with its X, Y, and Z axis, that's your primordial, okay? Physical and non-physical are going to be this cube and the sphere nested together. The cube and the sphere nest together perfectly at a ratio of 9 to 8. And there are 7 focal points along their axis that seal them together. No spooky glands in the body. 7 focal points along the axis of a cube and a sphere nested together. All right, primordial is the empty space. Physical and non-physical is that cube and the sphere. Well, which one is which? Bruh, it don't matter. We can argue about that. There's room for debate. I'd like to say the sphere is non-physical and the cube is physical, but we can debate about it. Oh, I'm above that. If you know, you know. Dumbasses. That's how you know when a nigga don't know. If you know, head ass. So, okay, so that's at large. All right, just like Christian was saying, they give you what the fundamentals of reality at large are. These are the fundamentals in the Bookman model, okay? Because this is made for contemporary people. I want you to be able to talk about this without falling into pseudoscience. It's possible. All right, so if I talk to you about reality at large, what's the next question? What is reality in context of that at large? That's a great question. That's actually a direct question. Why? Because it invokes the question you asked before. It invokes what was just said. That's a direct question. I love it. Al Dickey. So detachment is putting it in its place and not throwing it away / letting it go. Don't even. I wouldn't even. I wouldn't call it detachment. Because like when you clean your room, you know, you put shit in its place. You don't call that detachment. So I'd say it's closer to cleaning your room than it is detachment. Detachment is one particular method of practice. I don't want to get into practice yet. I want to get into what the fundamentals are, because I'll go into practice, and that's what we going through. That's what we go through in the guild, how to make this practical. Okay, but I wouldn't say it's detachment. It's more so likened to cleaning your room. Okay, putting things in their place instead of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I think I get confused because the water is dirty, and I'm thinking might as well get some fresh shit instead. Yeah, the water's dirty because you're cleaning the baby. Like it's throwing the baby out with the bathwater is forgetting why you started all of this in the first place. It's skewed expectations of the scenario. Like imagine putting a baby in the bathwater and the water don't get dirty. It's to be expected. But the devil is in the details, the distinctions, being able to discern. And once you're so focused on the dirty bath water, you can't see the baby in it. You've nullified the whole reason you ran bath water in the first place. Bruh, it's the devil's in the details, bro. Zoran, good to see you in the chat, man. Just got in here. What's up, fam? K Prime, good to see you in the chat. Make sure you run it back, bro. Hey, I'm telling you, you don't miss out. It's like or better yet, get in the guild, because I'm gonna break it down to you. Not only can I break this one down to you, I can break down whatever fucking system you're using. That's the point. I want you to be able to look at any system or make your own. But you can't just make up pseudoscience. Fuck. All right, so if this is the reality at large I gave you, what is in context? Okay? And these are two different greens. Most people don't notice when I do that, but I mean, I understand because they used to be making distinctly different colors. You know, I have man eyes, but I had to look at this anyways. This is two different greens, okay? So when we're talking about, when we're talking about at large, it's likened to the space or the atmosphere of the shape, okay? When we're talking about in context, it's likened to the point in the middle. In context, at large. Okay, it's very simple. I like to call this an agent and atmosphere relationship. John Vervaeke, who does something very similar, he calls it an agent and arena relationship. I prefer atmosphere for other reasons. Anyways, the relationship between an agent and its atmosphere. Okay, this is that in context and at large relationship. Perfect example: your physical body and the physical world. The two are inextricably connected. Your body is inextricably connected to the world around it. Okay? This is the relationship between at large and in context. Okay? And so if this is the at large I gave you, what's the in context? Here we go. Anything in the primordial, anything in context of the primordial is called soul. Anything in the context of the non-physical is called spirit. Anything in context of the physical is called body. You could say matter. That's what people generally do. You know what? I'm not even going to be mad at you. Do it if you like. Do it if you like, okay? In context, at large. In context, at large. And see, this is what I really want you to get from this, okay? Because remember, this is the map I gave you for the at-large. Look at the relationship between the sphere, the cube, and the empty space. They share the same center point. This is why, from physical to non-physical to primordial, it's not somewhere you have to go. This is why. It's not somewhere you have to go. I can point to, even if it's not the central point, I can point to a point that's inside the sphere, cube, and empty space at the same time. Even if it's not the center point. You can be in all three at the same time. That's what I mean, okay? So, I've talked to you about the ontology at large, the in context, epistemology, okay? You need these two front parts to have a methodology. All methodology is composed, rests upon an ontology and epistemology. All methodology rests upon an ontology and epistemology. Okay? This is part of the reason your methodologies using materialism for spirituality don't work. God. Like, okay, they work to the degree to which you can play in the sandbox with a spoon. Okay, yeah, the spoon is shoveling. Look, Arius, I'm shoveling. Dude, I can give you a play shovel, and it would work better than that. So you're not wrong, but because you're so desperately avoiding being wrong, you don't actually taste what it is to be right. There's nothing in you that looks at that spoon and even ponders what a shovel might be. Fuck, that makes me mad. So, what we're talking about here is methodology, okay? This is how you get to methodology. That's why I didn't want to jump to detachment, because detachment is a form of methodology. And your methodology is based on whatever fundamentals you're talking about. And see, not everybody's fundamentals equate to detachment. More especially depending on how you approach it. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that because that's the next thing. All right? Look, these two maps up here are fundamental maps. This map at the bottom is a methodological map. So these two at the top are fundamental maps. This map at the bottom is methodological, okay? And so we're answering this third question. What is the narrative continuity between the two? Okay, Arius, you've told me the at large. In the back, you told me the in context. Assuming that I even understood anything you said, what does this have to do with me? Good question. You're on a roll today. Great job. I need more students like you. You sent the waiting list emails out yet? Nope, I'm not going to send the waiting list emails out until the first day of Welcome Week. Which should be tomorrow, right? Yeah, March 31st, excuse me. Detach what from what? Exactly, ZJ. Exactly. See, it points right to the fundamentals. That's why I didn't want to jump to detachment, because it necessarily invokes that question. Detach what from what? Exactly. Anyways, so this is where we get into the narrative. This is why methodology is the last part to comprehend. You have to comprehend the fundamentals first. All right. So what do I mean by a fundamental map? Arius, what are you talking about that this is a fundamental map? What do you mean all of these are fundamental maps? What do you mean the chakras are a fundamental map? What do you mean the Kalipov and the Tree of Life are fundamental maps? What do you mean the four elements are fundamental maps? That's a great question. That's an excellent question. Here, let's talk about it. What is a fundamental map? Okay. Here, we have a lovely map of the park. Right? This is wonderful. We have a map of the park. This map of the park is a fundamental map. Okay? As opposed to a methodological map. Why? Because there's no methodology on this map. The map doesn't tell you where you are. It doesn't tell you where you're going to go. And as such, it cannot tell you how to get anywhere. This map is only the fundamentals. There's no methodology on this map. Okay? It composes ontology and epistemology. Okay? The ontology is the green background square on that part that says park, map. That is your basic ontology. Your epistemology is right on top of it, almost an outgrowth. Everything you see in the key on the side here, that is your epistemology. That is the in context of your at large. At large ontology is the green background in the square. Park map. That is your at large. That is your atmosphere. Here, let's go back to the cube so you can see. Remember, at large, being that space, the atmosphere, and in context, the agent. All right? Atmosphere, in context. Those are fundamentals. This is a fundamental map. See, most people at this point, they'll confuse the map with the territory. They see the image of a Homo sapien on the chakra map, and they think, oh, that must be what the territory is. That's what it looks like. When in reality, the part don't look like that. You can see there's a correlation. On the park map, that lake looked like it could probably only fit maybe one or two more of those ducks. Ain't no way the real park can only fit 6 ducks on the fucking pond. Look how big those trees are compared to the slide. Look how big the trees are at the park. There better not be a slide that big. I'm not putting my child on that. The map is not showing you what the territory is or what it's going to look like. It's a symbol. A fundamental map does not tell you what to do. It does not tell you how. Well then, Aries, how do I get a how? That's a great question. You are on a roll today. Fuck, good job. I need more students like you. The map at the bottom is a methodological map. This map tells you how to do something. Which is what everybody, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? Aries, I understand the names of the chakras, but how do I Kundalini? Aries, I understand the names of the Sephiroth, but what do I do with my path work? Sorry. This is what you want to understand about methodology, okay? This is what you want to understand about methodology. Methodology is overlaid on top of the fundamentals. Here, goes back to the bottom picture. You have the fundamentals, all right? Look, you got the basic streets with the water right there, right at the bottom. Then you got the in context, the epistemology. Look at all these little pegs. There's your in context, all right? So that's just like your fundamental map right there, but what makes this different? On top of those fundamentals is laid out a methodology. Methodology rests on top of fundamentals. And what is the methodology composed of? Where are you going? How do you get there? For some people, that equates to a form of detachment, which is a methodology. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Best example I can give you of the difference between the map and the method, okay, is somebody out at sea charting a methodology over a sea chart, okay? The fundamental map does not come with methodology. You pull that map that you bought in Timbuktu out once y'all are in the ocean, it's not going to tell you where you are. How the fuck he supposed to know where you at? He made the map back then. How are you supposed to know where you was going to be at? Open up the map. Because you are initiated into navigating in the use of a map, you know how to triangulate where you are. And maybe sometimes they'll tell you where you could go. You know, they got Chicago on there. They got South Africa, Hong Kong, who knows? Who knows? Asia, who knows? You have different destinations you could get to. Here's another example, a map at the mall, right? A map at the mall. What do? They show you the fundamentals, but they only put one thing on there. You are here. And that changes depending on what place you are in the mall. They have the same map put out 6 different times. The fundamental map doesn't change. What changes? The methodology that is overlaid on top. I remember one time I went to a mall and the "you are here" was basically just a sticker. Like, you could see the sticker. It was like one of those transparent stickers, but you could see the sticker. Like, they just took the same map and put a sticker on there. But really, that's all you need to do. That's the beginning of methodology. You are here. And see, this is the distinction you need to have. There is no you on a fundamental map. There is no you on a fundamental map. When I say these are fundamental maps, there's no you in any of this. So you can name the chakras, you can name the Sephiroth, but none of that has anything to do with you. I'm so serious. This is why motherfuckers are confused. This is why motherfuckers still have to ask, how do I do this? How do I do that? Well, dude, you don't even understand what's in your hand. For the most part, motherfuckers couldn't even understand the answer you give them. Because it has more to do with just some semantics, some proposition. This is more than somebody says it. Oh, you finally said it, now I'm enlightened. I finally get it. Oh, stop being a dick to them. They're babies. Fundamental map is a symbol for the territory. It is not telling you what the territory will be. You see the symbol of a Homo sapien. It is not talking about in the body. When you see the symbol of a Homo sapien with the chakras, what you are getting a symbol of is a whole. A whole composed of parts. Now, the layman may say, well, damn, I don't understand a whole composed of parts. Yes, you do. Here, I'm going to use the example of something I know you know. Your physical body. That is not saying the chakras are in there. It is a correlation. Just like there were crocodiles in the Egyptian pantheon, there's the same reason you got a symbol of a Homo sapien on the map. Not because what's divine is a crocodile. Not because what's divine is a physical body. These are symbols, and you need to understand them in the context in which they exist. You can't just switch and swap whatever you like. Like, y'all got mad at Christians for that. Don't just pick what you like out the Bible. Listen to the part I want to show you. This shows you you're not right. You can't just pick and choose. It's got to be the whole thing. Oh, ain't that so? You can't just pick and choose. You can't just pick and choose. You need to understand these things in the context in which they exist. Each pantheon is a map. It gives you the fundamentals of reality. It gives you what populates those fundamentals of reality. And then it gives you a narrative for the continuity so that you can put yourself in it. This is why Christianity and the religions are going to tell you what happened in the past and in the future. Not because it is physical, it physically happened. It is for narrative continuity. And you'll tell me, I don't need a story. That's make-believe. Really? So what's real? Let me guess. Particles again. Some kind of melanin configuration for your kundalini oil and the DNA molecules. Pseudoscience. Fuck. Let's get back to methodology. Because I want you to feel this in your existence. All right, remember we started back here. The difference between default dead and going within, okay? What does it mean to go within? I gotta zoom out some. Because most of this isn't gonna have too much of the text anymore. I tried to reduce text as much as I could because motherfuckers hate reading. And to the degree to which they will read, they won't chew. But, you know, that's fine. Don't care. Don't need it. You'd be surprised. Anyways, what I'm trying to depict in this next map is a methodological map. All right. I want to show you the distinctions experientially between default dead and go within. Remember, default dead is where, even though you say, okay, I'm not my physical body and the physical world is hologram. Even though that's what you say, look at the two things he's still focused on. That's where his attention is. That anytime he tries to frame reality, he uses those things. That is your default dead. But go within. What is that? Well, this is when you turn away from such things. Magnetosphere, metabolism, and melanin. Mitochondria, what's it call it? Fuck. Don't be a dick. You cannot use those to explain the fundamentals of reality. Not even the people who tell you about them will use them to explain the fundamentals of reality, unless, of course, they're materialists. And materialism is not conducive to spirituality. By design. Anyways, the difference between going within. All right, here it is. Here's the map. And I want you to get it. Because remember, what's the difference between a fundamental map and a methodological map? A methodological map is overlaid on top of a fundamental map. Look at this map down here at the bottom. This is a methodological map. One, because it has Brandon's face. Beautiful. Two, is because you can see the fundamental map by virtue of the colors underneath. You can see the fundamental map underneath by virtue of the colors. Look at the colors. You see? Red, physical realm. Blue, non-physical. Purple, primordial. It's very simple. And now we can overlay a methodology on top of the fundamentals. So here's the first methodological map I want you to look at. All right? On the left. Well, no. Yeah, sorry. On the left, we have, well, I'm thinking whether or not it's going to be that when you're looking at it. Anyways, the image furthest from me, I'm saying this is the left. This image is default dead, okay? The only thing perceived here is physical world. You see the red. That's the only thing that's perceived. All right? On the right, more of the fundamental map is visible through here. All right, this is right before you make the turn to go within. You start to take into consideration, well, hold on. I'm not the body and I'm not the physical world. And so there's more than this. This is the beginning of the contemplation of that. And for the most part, most people only think of it in some type of a duality. That's fine, whatever. You're going to fail. Anyways, when you turn that perspective inward or away from the physical, this is where you come upon your experience of the non-physical and primordial directly. Okay, once again, you do not have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You just need to put it in its place. Okay? Like I said, with the two agreed axioms, I can explain any of the methodologies. I can explain any of the rights. Not to say I know everything about everything. That's not what I said. I said I can explain them. But there are certain fundamentals you don't understand that you don't understand, because most of you think that what it means to know this stuff is to be able to say words. Don't even study words, bruh. I'm so glad society just put the definition for materialism in there. Like, bro, like, it's a culture of clarity you need to develop. You need to be looking to be clear about what you say is real. You can't just pull words out of somebody's ass. Anyways, continuing. Shadow work. This is a non-physical work. Okay? This is a non-physical work. There's plenty of methodology around shadow work. Most people know shadow work from the work of Carl Jung. The issue with Carl Jung is the glass ceiling, the materialism. And most of the people coming out of Europe at this time, especially even contemporarily, it's materialist frameworks. They're trying to contend with what they have created. It is not conducive to meaning, to transcendence, to anything beyond itself. Materialism is in itself narcissistic. It precludes the existence of anything else, not by virtue of reason, by virtue of its own ontology. The root of shadow work is getting out of your own way. Learning to be honest with yourself. That is not motivation. Most people will think about it and they use this to try and feel good about the fact that they're a piece of shit. I don't tell you I'm a piece of shit so that you can say it and feel good about yourself. You missed it. I'm a piece of shit. Dude, I'd say don't follow me. I'm a fart. I'm going to do terrible things. I'm an awful example of what it is to be a good person. Stop. I'm a piece of shit. But only in acknowledging that can I actually decide whether or not I'm going to be a piece of shit. It's not about feeling better about having been bad. God. Real shit, and to be deeply honest, shadow work is about how you've been a piece of shit to yourself. You found a whole bunch of ways to blame everybody else for it, say what everybody else should and shouldn't have done, and that's how you define it. But stop. It was always you. It was always you. Yeah, they did 90% of that, but that 10% that you did, that you think is nothing, is the whole reason any of it's there. This world is perfect. It is perfect. See, motherfuckers don't understand that's what they're saying when they're talking about the physical world as an illusion. You don't hear that you're saying the physical world is perfect because you're just saying words. Shadow work is about getting out of your own way, becoming familiar with your own mechanisms, for self-deception. Not to have no mechanisms for self-deception. I never deceive myself. No. As a thing is bound, so it is unbound. The same mechanisms that we use that result in self-deception are the same mechanisms we use to learn, to engage with the world, to figure things out, to have realizations. As a thing is bound, so it is unbound. The same mechanisms that cause us to deceive ourselves are the mechanisms that we need to learn and know the world. And so it's not about getting rid of it or whether or not it's right. It's about contending with it, facing it. No faking it until you make it. I was talking in the guild recently, or one of our sessions. One of the guys, he had a history of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, hypnosis therapies and stuff like that. And he was talking about how what was frustrating him was how in the end of all those methods, it was just like a resolution back to what you started with. Like you may feel better afterwards, but it doesn't change what you is. You know, like they would do some kind of childhood regression where you're like, okay, here's this child part, and just absorb it back into the light of you and be happy and accepting of it. And it's like, bro, that's, once again, it's not wrong, but it's only not wrong in the realm of that you can't be wrong. But it's like, all that's doing is making you feel better. Because then after you do that, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to go back and talk to it again? How often do you contend with it? To what degree is it part of your reality now? People, when they go and do psychedelics and stuff, they have a process called integration. After somebody's done one of the serious psychedelics like ayahuasca or it's like a big mushroom trip, they have a process of what's called integration. Well, usually you do if they're doing some type of group setting through a community. There we go. They'll have what's called integration, where you sit down, you discuss your experience, how it fits you back into the life you knew. Okay, because what happens if you've taken any of the serious psychedelics, after the trip, shit don't look the same. But slowly, over days or weeks, you fall back into the old pattern. This is why I don't like the way they do integration, because it's like a speedway back into the old patterns with new words on top. Like, no, this was supposed to break something. That was supposed to break something. Stop trying to pretend like nothing broke. Grasp what broke. Grasp what changed, how I am different. What I learned about shadow work, once to start to dig, most of the first layers is straight emotions. Yeah, but the first layers of this shit, like I've said before, when you're entering into the darkness, there's 3 types of things you will find. The first thing, inevitably, that you will encounter are the things that you have been running from. Why? Because you just stopped running. That's the first step. As if you stop running, have you been chased by a dog, right? What happens if you stop running? Ooh, I'm saying to you, you encounter that motherfucker. Those are the first things you're gonna see. The shit you've been running from. Next, the shit that's running from you. It's gonna take a minute, because you're gonna once you found out that the things you were running from weren't even that scary, you're gonna feel confident. And so you start walking in deeper, and you think, there's not even anything here. Look at me, I've mastered the darkness. No. Most of that shit will be running from you. Why? Because if your overconfident, arrogant, proud ass actually found that really you ain't even done much of anything yet, you'd blame it on them for existing. How dare you be here? I'm going to rip this out and change it. No. Don't be trying to clean that up like it's somebody else's shit. That's your shit. That's your shit. Like it shouldn't be there. No, it should. You put it there. As a matter of fact, you won't let it go. And that's why it's there. The things you're running from, the things that are running from you, then the things that are just sitting there. Like a lamp in a dark room. It's not running from you. You're not running from it, but it affects the room. See, there's a method to the madness. There are so many methodologies to this, but you have to have a coherent set of fundamentals. You have to. Otherwise, you just spit pseudoscience and emotional gratification that you could have got from just reading an Oprah book. You're not talking spirituality. To be talking spirituality is to be talking beyond physical realm. If what you are talking to me about is physical realm, it's not spiritual. It's not to say you have to get rid of physical realm. Once again, you don't. But you need to comprehend what constitutes the category. Metaphysics is philosophy. It's easy to say the word ontology, teleology, epistemology. It's easy to say the words. It's another thing to know what they mean and apply them. Oh, yeah, I noticed that with mushrooms. Yeah, it breaks something, especially if you let it, bruh. If you let it break something, you break some good shit. Oh, man. Sorry, EJ. What'd you retract? What'd you retract, man? Come on. Come on, bro. You retracted the message? Come on, bro. Come on. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. I'm not hurt. Let me continue. All right, look, that's the shadow work. That's the non-physical density of some of this work, okay? And once again, this is a basic, fundamental, beginner, easy thing. Do not come to me and pretend like you already got it because I'm going to spank you and put you in the corner. Most of you have not dealt with any of this stuff. It's part of the reason I not only talk about shadow work in the guild, we talk about ancestors. I want you to begin contending, engaging with the non-physical reality you claim exists. You need to be able to begin engaging with it outside of the realm of materialism. Outside of the realm of materialism. Don't look at my ancestor altar and ask, hey man, why you got that motherfucker up there? They ain't related to you. What, me as the physical body? Oh, so it's got to be in the lineage of my meatbag's DNA for them to be an ancestor. Why? Ancestors is dead niggas, bro. That's as far as I need to go. As far as I need to go. I tell motherfuckers, wake the dead. Wake the dead. Why would I limit what an ancestor, what constitutes the category of ancestor to physical body lineage if I'm not the body? So if you did, what is that subtly telling you that you agree are your fundamentals? That you're the body. Why else would you limit what ancestors are to the lineage of the body? Right? It's subtle. It's so simple. It's so easy. Because y'all motherfuckers talk about, I did this with Oshun. Me and Cthulhu was homies. No. No. Don't eat them. Don't destroy their world. Let them do it. Because if I do it, you're going to blame me. It's fine. It's cool. You and Cthulhu are buddies. You and Oshun are whatever. Whatever you say. Good job. Amar. Oh, Amar, good seeing you in the chat, man. Hey man. See, I'm live the other day. It was same live I was talking about with Tribe. Yeah. I heard you mention a little bit on the altars. Now I was like, okay, is he gonna go in? What's he gonna do? And I was like, nah, it's all right. It's all right. Y'all actually had a nice sentimental, nostalgic moment. That was heartwarming. It was heartwarming. I'm like, okay, you don't have to talk about my shit. Y'all having a moment. I love this. It's great. Good to see you in the chat, man. ZJ, the integration process. So key, otherwise, you fall back into what was already. Wait. So key, otherwise, okay, got you. The integration process. So key, otherwise you fall back into what was already. Yes. When I was trying out shrooms, I never really considered to lock. Hold on, the fucking little heart thing is in my way. I can't see the last word. Fuck. I don't want to leave a heart on my own, whatever. I never really considered to look at that part of the process. Yeah, because and this is why I point to what is you. Because it's going to lead you that way to start questioning it. But no one gets around to questioning you. They have the subtle human materialist agreement as their underlying narrative. And so it never calls you to question the existential essentials. Oh, yes, I know. Especially when most people do integration. It's just spooky, spirity, aloof Buddha humanity. Like it reduces all methodology to one angle of approach. I mean, that's kind of how the middle path works in the Western tradition. Most people will use the Western tradition, but won't actually get into the roots of it. Anyways, let me continue, because it does get into what we're talking about next. But yeah, integration after psychedelics is very necessary, especially if you don't have fundamentals. if you have fundamentals, you need to integrate them. You need to use that moment, use that experience as an opportunity to do that integration properly, breaking the old stuff. But see, most people aren't going to break the old stuff because they don't have new stuff. They don't even know what new stuff is. They think their old stuff is the new stuff. I hate you guys. Sorry. Oh. We talk about this in the guild as well. Ascension. All right. All spiritual rites have some form of ascension. For some people, that ascension is a result of a detachment. That's a particular methodology. Remember, we were talking about that in the chat. One methodology could be detachment. Another methodology could be to lean in. Another to the fact that this is the case. Some people like absurdists. They take nihilism and rejoice at there being no meaning. In fact, rebel against the possibility there could be any meaning. A nihilist kind of falls at the wayside to the fact that there is no meaning. Once again, different philosophical frameworks coming out of the Western world as a result of materialism. But any spiritual framework you have has some form of ascension. You do the detachment to gain the ascension. Maybe there's some particular spiritual practice you have to engage in throughout your physical life in order to attain that ascension, or to engage in the process. Okay? And so what we're talking about in the guild is the basic fundamentals of any form of ascension. All right, this is why it's purple. This is why we're talking about primordial. Okay, this is where we're talking about primordial. Remember, once again, you have already agreed the axioms, not the meat bag and not the meat bag that the bowl is in. The bowl the meat bag is in. Look at the physical world. Oh my God. Okay, that's what both of those. We've already agreed. Nah, that's not the thing. We're gonna look over here. We don't want to get so rebellious that we destroy everything that has worked. We just have to comprehend what materialism is for. It's not for spirituality. All of materialism is in the red part. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it doesn't have the ontological capacity to do what you're trying to do. The little Jeep you gave your kid, it's not wrong. It's basically a little car. But it don't come with the capacity to go pick up a whole family, go get the load of lumber and tools from Home Depot, then go get some McDonald's on the highway. It don't have the capacity to do that. Materialism does not have the capacity to have the discussions you guys want to have about spirituality. It's made not to do it. The methodological aspect of this is participatory. It's how you participate in what's going on. So on the one hand, because we already know how you participate in the physical realm. On the one hand, there's a non-physical participation, and on the other hand, there's a primordial participation. Having the distinction between the two helps you hone them. It's not to say they're completely separate. Okay? Because look here on the map. They're not completely separate. But you need to understand the dynamic between the two. How it relates to fundamentals. Now, when we're talking about ascension, having a hard time giving rise or living as something other than my connection to my current reality. I keep coming back to me, personality and the body. Exactly. Nihilistic narcissism. Because it's the same issue everyone's having now, is that they don't understand how to make meaning in the world aside from themselves. Descartes, in his dualism, I think, therefore I am. That's all he couldn't deny. That's where everyone is at. And they're trying to find different ways to dress it up. And I'm telling you, you can, but you can't use materialism. If you're using particles, melanin, energy, dark energy, the spookier energy. No, it's materialism. You're using quantum anything. It's materialism. None of those are conducive to spirituality. I don't care how many of these spiritual people are talking about it. Talk to the source material, the physicists, who for the last 40 years and publicly, motherfuckers, let them think there's a conspiracy to keep the information from you. No, you're ignorant. Publicly have been saying the artifacts of materialism, of space-time, are not fundamentals of reality. No melanin, magnetosphere, DNA, spooky back oil, special meat glands. No, none of it's fundamental. There's a reality to it, but it's not fundamental. Look, Super Mario. Super Mario is real. He does not have a physical body in the way we have physical bodies, but there is a reality to it. How do you know? You can see it all over the place. There'll be motherfuckers dressed as Super Mario. Motherfuckers know how to speed, who played the game so many times, they can beat it in a few minutes. There is a reality to it. That's the point. So the reason you're going to have a hard time is your fundamental ontology and epistemology of reality. Your fundamental cosmology. Materialism won't work. Particles, quasars and galaxies, quantum strings, Higgs bosons, melanins, metabolism, mitochondria, magnetosphere, all of those are artifacts of space-time. They are not fundamental to reality and therefore cannot be fundamental to a spiritual system. This is why they won't work every single time. So what you have to do is reassess your cosmology. Reassess how well you know what you know. Because remember, the things I'm saying aren't shit no one's seen before. You've seen these things. It's just that you don't know what it is. Repeating what other people have told you it is doesn't mean you know what it is. It's a map. It's a map of reality at large. It's not a chart of something going on in a physical body. It's a map of reality at large. All of the physical realm is Malkuth. All of the physical realm, the entirety of its past, present, and future exists as Malkuth. All of it. The root chakra is all of the physical world. Like, it could all be so simple though, but there's so much bullshit because can't nobody recognize the smell of their own shit no more. Anyways, I was talking about ascension here, okay? Because this is how we're going to get to that place where we're talking about a methodology that concerns detachment, okay? When it comes to ascension, there are three fundamental angles of approach to this work. There are three fundamental angles of approach to this work. If you are coming from the Western tradition, which all of you are, the way they articulate those fundamental angles of approach, first and foremost, what they usually do is a duality, which is left-hand path and the right-hand path. But what that inevitably creates is the unspoken path, or the middle path. 1, 2, 3 fundamental angles of approach to the same thing. 3 fundamental angles of approach to the same thing. Now I'm going to steer clear of left hand, right hand, and middle path because most people who invoke them don't even comprehend what the fuck they're talking about. They like to say all organized religion is the right hand path. No, you can organize religions around the left hand path or the middle path. Ain't you motherfuckers out here looking for like-minded people? That's organized religion just as much as anything else. Y'all all sit in the same room, say the same things. Detach from all feelings. It's the same shit. And it's not to say that's right or wrong. It's that, look, what makes the distinction between the paths isn't organized religion. It's the angle of approach that you're coming at to the whole work. Let me show you what I mean by that. Look at this, okay? In the Bookman model, I talk about the 3 paths of ascension. Okay? 3 fundamental angles of approach to the same thing. Look at these 3 images, right? These 3 consecutive circles. Same thing. 3 angles of approach, each of them equally valid in their own respect. Same thing. 3 different angles of approach, each equally valid in its own respect. Let's talk about these angles of approach. Let's talk about the angles of approach. First one, what people will traditionally call the right-hand path. I am telling you, it's the path of the child in the Bookman model, okay? The emphasis of what this path is are types of fundamentals or angles of approach to the work that have this particular narrative. Okay, what I am is something that returns to source. Okay, so to return to something means there has to be a distinction made. So what you've done is made a distinction between self and source. That's fine. That's fine. It's an angle of approach. Okay, what I am is something that returns to some larger thing. Okay, that's fine. You can do that. I'm not telling you which one of these is right, is wrong. They're not a progression from one to the next. There are 3 fundamental angles of approach to the same thing. 3 fundamental angles of approach to the same thing. If your angle of approach is what I am, is this thing that returns to a larger thing. This also encompasses things like reincarnation, okay? If you're a reincarnation, return to source kind of person, your methodology is that of path of the child. And also, mind you, this isn't to pick one and stick with that forever, because what I want to convey to you is that you need the knowledge of all 3 angles of approach to understand what you're looking at. If you looked at that set of circles and you only use one angle of approach, you may be effective some of the time, but you don't have knowledge of what you're doing. Okay? This is why I'm giving you all the angles of approach. See, the detachment thing, we're going to see that in Path of the Mother. That's one angle of approach. And so when you understand the context the methodology comes from, it makes more sense, okay? Because someone on the path of the child doesn't need to detach from anything. They don't need to detach. Hell, to the degree to which they could be detached, they're already detached. The goal is to reattach, to return. Okay? So things like reincarnation will fall into this path as well. Okay? Next is the path of the mother. This angle of approach to the work comes with things like detachment. Okay? Comes with ideas like ultimately there is only nothing. Right? And the work on this type of path, it isn't, because even the self, on the path of the mother, in the middle path, even the self is something to be detached from. Right? Here you're trying to escape all illusion. Right? Liberation. Is it Samkhya? Is that the name of it? I don't know the Sanskrit words, guys. Nirvana, there's that. Now, Samkhya is the name of the system. Nirvana was what I was looking for. Enlightenment. Okay, you reach the state of enlightenment. And it's not, the start is the finish with the path of the mother. The start is the finish with the path of the mother. Okay, there's nowhere to go, nothing to do, no return. All right, no distinction between source and self, because self is just another illusion. I mean, even on the path of the mother, they can give you all types of different articulations, epistemological articulations about the nature of illusion, but yet and still they'll say, well, this is all still something to be ascended, transcended. Okay, so the path of the mudra, the middle path approach, their approach is going to contain a lot of detachment, because even the self is something you need to detach from. Remember, path of the child, you're not getting rid of the self. Hell, you're probably going to cultivate it. All right? Path of the mother, no, all this shit got to go. And so what you end up with is this type of non-self. It's a negative self. Like if I had gingerbread cookie dough, right? And I took the gingerbread cookie out of there. And the negative space of the gingerbread man, right? That's a negative. That's a non-gingerbread man. It's the opposite. The negative space is the best way I can say it. The negative space of a self. So it's not a self. It's a non-self, and it's the closest you can get to that ultimate oneness. Okay, it's the being with it, the being it, the ultimate enlightenment. Okay, there is no self you need to cultivate on this path. I gotta get Trav in here to talk about path of the mother, because he'll do the middle path for you. He'll do it great. This is why I like Trav, because Trav is so neutral. It's bias. I love that shit. Like that's dedication to the neutrality, bro. It's real shit. Now, path of the father. Generally in the Western tradition, this is called the left-hand path. Okay, path of the father has many similarities to path of the child. But in the respect that the path of the child would say, okay, I'm this lesser thing that returns to this larger thing. The path of the father will be like, I'm the larger thing with a lesser thing within me. I'm a larger thing with a lesser thing within me. Once again, you don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. But it's your angle of approach that changes. See, what changes when you get to a methodological map for spirituality? Oh, I didn't put it in here. No, of course I didn't put it in here. Here, this is what I'll do for you. Since we're on the show, I'll pull up some of the shit you'll get in the guild. Which one am I going to go to? I'll go to Ascension. Boom. There we go. Here, let me show you some of the methodological maps I give the guild members. I can show you all my secrets because I know you're not going to understand it because you're scared to ask questions. So I don't mind. Here, look. Path of the child. Look, I'm not going to explain it to you. I'm going to show you things changing, okay? That's it. Uh-oh, something shifted. Uh-oh, something shifted. Uh-oh, something shifted. Uh-oh, something shifted. Do the fundamentals need to shift? No. The fundamentals don't need to shift because methodology is overlaid on top of the fundamentals. What shifts, what changes is you. What is you? Because look, let's go back to the original methodological map. This map on the bottom, right? This map on the bottom, it's got where are you going to end up, and how you get there, right? In terms of spiritual work, where you end up is all the same. 3 fundamental angles of approach to the same thing. No, Harris, I'm looking at it. Didn't look like that over here. I'm looking at it. It looks like this, Harris. No, it looks like that. No, this is the right one. You can't see the forest for the trees, kiddo. 3 fundamental angles to the same work. So if the end result is the same, right? If the end result is the same, what changes? Where you start, how you start, your angle of approach. What is you? It can all be so simple. But I have to make it simple. I have to make it simpler than I've ever made it before. Oh my God, I just want to vomit. That's a good thing, guys. Fucking babies. All right. So, just like on this methodological map here, okay? This green part is the route. You can only have the route once you have the beginning and the end, okay? Because the end destination, regardless of how you approach it, is the same place, what changes is the beginning, where you start, okay? And this is the last part I'm going to do, because I've literally broken the whole thing down. Because look, this is why it's difficult to give people practical methodology. Because without knowing what your fundamentals are, I can't explain it to you. Look, bro. Because all I'm saying, bro, this shit can be simple. Where did I put it? Here. If you a chakra nigga, right? You a chakra nigga. And I give you the explanation of the methodology based on somebody who's a zodiac nigga. You're going to look at me and be like, nah, bro, you missing it. Something ain't right. This don't fit. This is why none of this shit fits with your materialism. Caught his ass. Okay. Your methodology is going to depend on your fundamentals. Let's say you a tree of life nigga, right? You Sam Kaya all day. Sam Kaya. Throw up the S. Let's say you Sam Kaya and you use a tree of life. And I give you a Kundalini methodology. Right? It's not going to fit. And so because everybody's fundamentals are scrambled and shit, you can't make methodology. Some motherfuckers got a piece from chakras, a piece from Kundalini, a piece from egregores. You don't even know what that is. Here you go, I got some of that. And now you're making this pot from the Orishas because they did that. You put it all together and you're like, I've got it, I figured it out. No, you haven't. You made a mess. Your kid come in with that nasty mud pie. Hey, look at me, Dad, I made a pie. That's a mess. Look at your clothes. Put that pan of dirt back outside and wash your fucking hands. Your mom made a real pie. Y'all motherfuckers making a mess. And you can't get methodology out of that. You can't. The most you can get out of that is feeling good. And that's what people think spirituality is. It's about the degree to which you exist beyond the appearance of the physical world. That is what it's always been about. The degree to which you exist beyond the appearance of the physical world. But for most, their cosmology does not extend beyond the physical world. And if they claim it does, they have no idea of how that works. They just go into, everything. Like, motherfuckers talking about, I'm not Christian no more. You just replaced the word God with the Most High. That's it. Or higher self. Look at you. You just changed the words, but you didn't change what you think. You didn't change the fundamentals. This is why motherfuckers will say, I'm not a Christian no more, but now they work with demons. That's as far as you could go. Motherfucker, that's like saying I'm leaving the house and you just stay in the front yard. I mean, technically you did. But that's not leaving the house like going up the street would be. That's not leaving the house like going to the next country over would be. That's not leaving the house like leaving the planet would be, would it? I'm saying a little kid running away from home and the furthest you get is the front yard. Fucking demons. How I've been seeing it is that the path of the child and mother are nested parentheses within the path of the father. Does that make sense? Nested parentheses. So if this path of father and this child and mother, it would look. This is what I gotta say. Here we go. Because I don't want you to see. I don't want you to see two of them in respect to just one of them. Because look, this is why I have this picture of these circles from three different angles. Because in certain respects, the way that you're seeing a relationship between the path of the child and the path of the mother, there's a relationship between the path of the father and the path of the child. There's a relationship between the mother and the father that excludes the child. You see what I'm saying? They're interchangeable like that. So that same thing you're seeing, I'm not telling you it's not there, but it exists for all three angles. Each one is valid in their own respect, in their own way. Because the path of the father and path of the child have many things that are similar. Like here, I'll go back to showing you the difference on the methodological maps. See, now I'm into explaining it. I don't care. Look at what stays the same on these two, right? What's staying the same? The idea of you is connected with that old idea of me. And it's not to say it's bad, okay? I'm not saying it's bad or what you shouldn't do. But Path of the Father starts at a different premises. It's the same fundamentals, the same structure, but the angle of approach is different. You would think the angle of approach is not different here, right? But it is. But it is. Let me give you an example. Okay. Let's say looking at this, it looks like a circle. Path of the child, I'm looking at a circle. Path of the mother zooms the fuck out to where now what you would have called a circle is a point. Okay? It's Path of the Father starts from the thing you said you were looking at. And so now you can look back at what the thing was that was looking. See, it's your angle of approach that changes. It is you that changes. You can look at the geometry and you'd be like, oh, look, there's a point and a line and a triangle. That is the empty space changing, and the effect of that change are points, lines, and shapes. Every number is on the number line. 0 is the number line. It's the empty space. And I can put empty in air quotes, I guess, right? Every single aspect of the circle, of the cube and the sphere exists within that empty space. Every single aspect. See, you have to have a fundamental map. Otherwise, you cannot make methodology. You're going to tell me to activate the melanin in your Ein Sof, Sof, and Sofer. You have to take this Kundalini and raise it to your 12 cranial nerves to correlate with the magnetosphere and attract the energy of your ancestors from the realm of dark matter to the realm of the quantum sphere. That's how y'all sound. And most motherfuckers are so amazed to just hear those words used together. They don't recognize it's just word salad. Leaving the house and being in the front yard, you're still in the same territory. Yeah, playing with demons, talking about you aren't Christian. Does the child just stay unaware of its own being? No. You know that about children. Once again, remember, these paths of ascension, these are not a progression from one to the next. Think about the difference in these paths, like the difference on Google Maps. Here, I'll bring up the video. Once again, study materials from the Guild. Oh, I don't have to go that way. I'm gonna go that way anyways. If you're looking for how to get to Walmart on your Google Maps, right? And you pull it up. You told it where you are. You told it where you want to go. And now it gives you a methodology, right? But that ain't the end of it. Oh, that's not the end of it. Because maybe your methodology is for someone in a car. Maybe your methodology is from someone who's going to take their bicycle that day. And equally, your methodology could be for someone who's on the subway. All three, equally valid. Different angles of approach to the same fucking thing. Oh shit, no. Here. I'll let you look at this real quick. If I do this. Alright, let me clear myself out for a second. I'ma still talk shit. Where's my okay, here it is. Go like that. Boom. Alright. I'm going to give you the audio and I'm going to shut up. Because I like the beat. Keep in mind, remember we just did ontology and epistemology. That it don't need to know where I am yet. There's no you on the map yet. Look at the ontology. Remember, I showed you. There's the ontology, the basic footing, the basic fundamentals. There is no you. Right? Epistemology. It builds on top of those basic fundamentals. Still, once again, no you. It's not necessary. It's not the thing. Don't need to know that where I am. If I'm looking for what the goodwill is, what time it closes, what the front look like, how many are on the east side. This shit there doesn't need to be a me at all in this, a you at all in this, in order to answer those questions. Because it's ontology and epistemology. All right? Ontology and epistemology. There's your ontology. The fundamentals of the fundamental map. The epistemology, still part of the fundamental map. No you, but it's giving you the details, the in context. Let's continue. Shut my dumb ass up. Listen to this beat. Mind you, keep in mind, I'm looking at epistemology. I still haven't asked where are you. Don't need it yet. I can get all this information without where are you. I can name all the chakras. I can name all the Sephiroth. I can name all the paths. I can name all the zodiac things, right? And still have no methodology. Continuing. Did you catch it? Did you catch it? Did you catch what had to happen? What you fucking? There we go. Look at that. See what? Did you catch what had to happen? This is the first thing that happened now that we got methodology, right? Because we went from the epistemology. We see this at the epistemology. Look what happens when you get to methodology. What do you need? Because ain't no you on the map yet. Ain't no you on the map yet. Watch, it's gonna give me one. It's got to. It's got to. Okay. We got the you. We got where you're going. What are we talking about with these paths of ascension, right? Look up here at the top. You got the bicycle. You got the dude who waiting for the taxi. You got the motherfucker saying, fuck it, I'm gonna walk. You got the subway. All of these, let me put my thing back. All of these are angles of approach to the same work. All of these are angles of approach to the same work. A child isn't characterized by being unaware. Bruh, go look at kids. They just know they can accept how much they don't know. Don't just look at a kid like you unaware little bastard. No, you are unaware. That's why we're here. That's why we're having this conversation. Being unaware is inevitable. You have to embrace it though. And that's what children do. Hey, look. Anyways, the three paths of ascension, the angle of approach you're taking. Because I encourage my fucking students to embrace the path of the child. All the shit I started out with, that's what I did. When I didn't know none of this shit, that's what I was doing. It's very intuitive. It's very intuitive. Motherfuckers trying to be the spookiest nigga on the block don't understand the fundamentals. Want to make the fucking highlight reel shot, but you can't do a bounce pass. Bruh, let's get this bounce pass right. Let's get this bounce pass right. Let me keep playing. Keep the audio on. Okay, but look, where you are and where you end up don't change. What changes is how you approach it. Okay? That's what makes the difference in your methodology. Look, and they're gonna that methodology looks completely different. But it's for the same work. It starts with the same fundamentals. Now, what's the territory? Look, because the map and the territory are not the same. We talked about this. Yeah, I keep saying, what is you? I'm not just going to tell you everything is you. What the fuck is being symbolized? What is being talked about is the you. But you got to understand, you need to know the difference between a fundamental map and a methodological map. Because if you're talking about you as the whole of reality, then there is no methodology to that. That's why I'm not just going to tell you everything is you. A you is narrative. A you, or in your case an I, is narrative. It's narrative. Not because it's fake, it's a mythology. That's the nature of it. It's threefold. You niggas can say generator, operator, destroyer. It's because it's a spooky thing to say. Itself is threefold. It has to be. So it's not about being unaware about in the path of the child. Because look, that's why I would say read the story of not Vishnu, Krishna. Read the incarnation of Krishna. Vishnu's incarnation as Krishna. He's a child for the beginning of the part. He's aware of the fact that he's the supreme being. But he's in the role, but not of it. He playing the role. He doing the baby shit. He's like, nigga, I'm Vishnu in this bitch. But I'm playing with you though. You know, he out there, out there in the water with the goat herder's daughter, playing in the woods and shit. But at the same time, this motherfucker can, without question, consume a whole forest fire. It wasn't because he's unaware. It's the angle of approach. But you are correct in pointing out that the work of ascension is about your awareness. Awareness is your capacity to notice. The world is already perfect. It don't need to change. What changes is you. Your capacity to notice what was already there. A lot of y'all get into the occult shit, right? And you start to notice symbols everywhere. They were already there. That's my alternative to being mean, and it still feels kind of mean. I apologize. But this shit was already there. What changed was you. Your capacity to notice. Your capacity to notice. It could all be so simple. It could all be so fucking simple. And I'm not mad at y'all. Please don't take that as I'm mad at, especially not people who are actually engaging here. I'm not upset with you. I'm frustrated with the fact that I need to make what I consider simple so simple it's almost like I'm not talking about what I was talking about before, but fuck it. See, once again, that's my frustration. It's not about you. Okay, I was thinking that way because from your 3 paths PDF at the end, you say that you are a left-hand path practitioner, and then what we talked about in the guild, being able to toggle between them, look like that to me. Yeah, that's where a lot of the methodology that I was teaching before I started the guild was from a left-hand path perspective. And some people will think that because that's what I do personally, that's what I'm encouraging you to do. I would not encourage anyone to engage with the left-hand path. Most of what y'all want, You don't even have to get close to that. You just got to really be honest about what you're looking for. Because see, most people I've found, they're not looking for the meaning of life. They're trying to find meaning in life. But because they don't know that's what they're looking for, those three questions, they start to go, okay, well, I'm going to go figure out what's the meaning of life. And that'll tell me what's meaning in life. No, it doesn't. That's what I had to realize with y'all. Motherfuckers, I love metaphysics. And so y'all are asking me about metaphysics, but what you really want is not meaning of life. It's meaning in life. Something practical. How to do this in your everyday life. Because see, philosophy is not just armchair thinking. This is pop psychology, pop philosophy. That's what that is. You know, just spilling ink. Philosophy is thinking about your thinking. It's thinking about your thinking. How are you framing the reality? Questioning it, contending with it, not faking until you make it. The only thing you get better at there is faking it. So don't fake it till you make it. Let's get out here. Let's get to work. We can do this shit. Because there's plenty of y'all. Because I would tell motherfuckers to defeat me because I don't want to be the hottest nigga on the street. I'm hot because y'all niggas don't do shit. Bro, I'm not. But so now I can't say defeat me. Because what if no one will ever defeat me? I'm disgusted. I want to throw up. But fine. If you won't defeat me, I'll be damned if I let y'all motherfuckers teach or say you work with me and you all out the side of your neck with bullshit. I'm not here for it. So we're not going to circle jerk. We're not going to circle jerk, walk into the room, everybody say check, fire, and facts. You know, everybody say what they want to. Each person just went, nah. We're going to have something we're talking about. We're going to have some consistent fundamentals. Something you can build off. And motherfuckers love to say, well, I heard motherfuckers say alchemy, right? Alchemy. What are we looking at? Chakras again. Sevenfold pattern. Sevenfold pattern again. I seen a motherfucker talking about the different type of mancies, which is interesting. Divination in itself. Like, especially like, I've seen a lot of motherfuckers who use tarot who don't know about the journey of the fool. They don't know about a 21-fold pattern. 21-fold pattern? Aries, what the fuck is you possibly be talking about? A 21-fold pattern? How does something like that exist? Oh my, a 21-fold pattern. It's alright. No, I'll go to them study materials because I leave all this stuff for the people on the guild. Because I want you to have it. I want you to have receipts. Here we go. An icosahedron has 20 faces. Plus the center point is 21. Okay, here's what is the relationship between the icosahedron and the rest of the geometries? Here, the tetrahedron, each side has 3 points, but there's 4 of them. The relationship between 3 and 4, right? What we talked about the relationship between 3 and 4. It'll bring you to 7 and it'll bring you to 12. But most motherfuckers don't know what they're looking at again. These are the secrets of man. M-A-N. M-A-N. Oh, damn, my thing is in the way. Whatever. You're looking at a circle. The elements of vibration. Center, up and down. It's not about particles vibrating. Like, I hate niggas so much. 3 and 4. The union of 3 and 4. Why is it significant? It gives you 12. It gives you 7. Because 3 giving rise to 4 is not the same as 3 plus 4, nor is it the same as 3 mixed or multiplied by 4. These are fundamental maps. And see, this is the one I really want to get y'all into. This is one I really want to get niggas into. Because this was going to kick y'all ass. All right? Because I can give you all of them right here. 4, 5, 7, 9, 12. So simple. But niggas don't want to get the basics. Niggas don't want to get the basics. So I'm going to be back on Monday. I'm probably going to do a couple live streams throughout Welcome Week. Details are in the description. All right, that'll take you to. You can look at the Bookman model all you want to. I got another one on the Trinity, which is one of the most fundamental dynamics of metaphysics. I have the calendar for the guild, so you know the whole schedule of what's going on, and I got all the details on what the fuck it is, what the fuck we're talking about. Okay. Take your time, do what you want. I got reviews. I got a section for you to ask questions, like all the shit you can do without having to actually join. And then, I don't just want people's questions to pile up. Like I was on this one community site, and they had the question, and nobody was really engaging with any of the participants' answers. I'm like, fuck that, man. I want to, like, if a nigga took the time to ask and answer something, like, let's get in there and talk about it. That's what the fuck this is about. Shit. So you wouldn't be the only one talking. You wouldn't be the only one saying something. I'm not just going to give you a folder of videos and tell you once you've watched this, you got it. No, we're going to work together. We're going to get in this. I'm going to get up in your ass. Don't worry, it's not going to hurt as much as you think. Piece of shit, man. All right, y'all. That's been me for the morning, bro. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my Saturday, man. I appreciate y'all coming out and fucking with me, for real, though. I really do. Where's the... Oh, I closed it. I didn't think I could close it. Did I close it? I didn't think I could. No, I didn't close it. Fuck. All right, y'all. I'm about this bitch today. Y'all have a good one. Thank you for showing up. I'm going to see you in the guild. Unless, of course, you're going to keep wasting your time.